Cool. What's good, everyone? Now, how can I get the chat to come up? Oh, overlays in the chat overlay. That's a bit excessive. I need to still monitor on TikTok. Okay, let's see. Nah, breathe, yeah, breathe, some bones of other dinner. All right, cool. Hello, everyone. How we doing? Some feedback on the connection. We need some feedback on the connection, guys. Come on. Shout out to people in the chat right now. We got 2 people. Let me just minimize this so I can see. Yeah, if the connection's okay, can we get some like ones in the chat or something, or just a response? Let me know that the connection's fine and we're good to go on the stream. Otherwise, we're gonna have to address the connection issue before I start streaming properly. I do want to do this as it provides a better platform stream, but I can't do it if the connection sucks. Yeah, I'm not really sure why we're not even getting any numbers coming. It's kind of weird because usually we'd get like a boost. We've got 2 people in, or maybe the numbers are wrong. I'm not sure. Yeah, guys, can we get some feedback on the connection? How's the connection doing? Am I jumping around? Am I lagging? How are we doing on the connection, guys? Right. If I don't get any feedback, I'm gonna have to jump off and I'm gonna have to run from just TikTok on the phone. So it'd be good to get some feedback on the connection, guys. Let me know how the connection's doing. And I don't know why the numbers are so low as well. We've got low numbers and the connection's not running. Any feedback? Oh, the numbers are kind of rising actually. Okay, let's stay live for a little bit while the numbers rise. We'll see if anybody's going to give any feedback on how the connection's doing. And then we'll see what we can get into. But we need to know how the connection's doing, guys. Like that is paramount and key for me if I want to continue streaming on this particular platform. Otherwise, I'll just jump onto the other platform and stream. Like I can do it just from my phone. But this is obviously a better format for me because I can react to videos and things like that. Like, I don't know, is it that the chats are not coming through? Okay, the numbers are rising. Okay, our numbers are rising. Should we stay live while the numbers rise? Spike Chambers, Freemason Puppet. Thank you so much. I'm glad someone's actually responding because now I know that like something's going on and that it's working out. Spike Chambers, how's my connection? The Illuminati providing me a good like connection? Can you hear me clearly? Or do I have to join like another satanic cult other than the Illuminati and the Freemasons? Just let me know, bro. Like, you can believe I'm a Freemason puppet, but I need to know like how the connection is. Hi, Ari. How's everyone doing, guys? I just need to know about the connection. Like, I don't give a fuck about anything else right now. I don't give a fuck about the numbers. Thank you for the likes, guys. I literally just need to. Someone just tell me in the chat, like, yes, I can hear you clearly. Like, fucking hell. I've been at this for like 10 minutes now, just trying to get somebody to say, Ari, how is the connection? Am I lagging out? Am I going to be able to stream on this platform? If I can stream on this, that's perfect for me because it's online. You know, we can react to videos, we can do our thing. You know, links to the platforms, we can promote ourselves better. All I literally need someone to tell me is how the connection is doing. It's good. Okay, so I'm not lagging. I'm not jumping about. Nice, nice. It seems that the numbers are going up too. How's everyone doing? How is everybody doing? Okay, we're going to be doing a video reaction today. Yeah, okay, then the lights are going up. I hope you guys enjoy this new format because I'm going to probably be running from this format a lot. And to be quite honest, I think what I'm even going to do is when the live goes off, I think I'm going to, when I leave, I think I'm going to leave myself live. Does that make sense? Because I can come in and out of me being on the platform. So I can play videos and go, and you guys can watch the videos. And I can also leave my advertisements running, like my links to my bio, my YouTube, and just like advertise while I'm gone, and then come back live whenever, and then you guys can just catch me when you catch me. So this is a great way for me to do this, and like obviously I've invested into this streaming platform so that I'm able to do this. The only thing I need to make sure that is consistent is the connection. So as long as we're good on the connection with everyone, then we can actually proceed and start doing a video reaction. So a bit more feedback would be good. I'd say if we get another person saying that we're all good on the connection, also run up the likes, guys. If we get, let's run up the likes to 2K. Let's say we'll start at 2K, just so I can get used to the platform and get used to how things are running and stuff like that. The numbers still seem pretty low, but hey, man, we're cool on the numbers. Like we'll boost up. I know we start boosting once we get into the flow of things. The clickbait topics tend to like bring people on easier. So I'm not too concerned about the numbers right now. Siobhan says we're good on TikTok. Perfect. So that's 2 people saying we're good. And now we're going to look at numbers and stuff. So just to introduce myself to anyone that's new that doesn't know what's going on, I'm building this platform because my daughter was killed unalive by Nottingham City Hospital, and they've covered up her death. Now, we're releasing a documentary exposing corruption in health and social care in the UK. But in order for me to do that, I need to have a platform to release on. Oh, Ari shared to over 20,000 people. How did you do that, bro? Interesting. I didn't even know that it was possible to do that. So today we're going to be reacting to a forced adoption documentary. Share to over 20,000. I didn't know that you could share to that many people at the same time. But yeah, we're going to be reacting to a forced adoption documentary. Let's say, yeah, when the numbers get to like 2K, it seems like we're getting some numbers in. So hello, everyone. This is like obviously my new platform. Oh, you have only over 20,000 followers. I didn't even notice that. Interesting, Ari. How did you get so many followers? Let's see. I'm going to check the platform out right now, bro. I'm going to check you out. I done a repost. Can't believe they would do that. It's absolutely disgusting. You have my full support. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. So yeah, literally, I'm obviously that's my baby, and I'm building this platform. I want to get it to a massive platform: YouTube, Telegram, X, TikTok, so that eventually we can expose these people. We're going to be releasing a documentary. So come along for the ride of accountability. Basically, what can I say? The more followers we have, the better it will be for everyone involved. I want to make this a platform where we can just expose these people whenever we want. The hospitals that cover up deaths and are involved in forced adoptions, the care homes, the corrupt care homes. We're actually making an app that will help expose that. I can't speak about it because I'd need an NDA. I need you guys to sign an NDA. But we're making an app where also we've also got a subscriber program for the star subscribers, so you can fund the documentary. It's $2.99 a month if you want to fund the documentary. As you can see, I'm investing my own money in, so it's not like the money doesn't go to me. It goes through our charity. Our charity is called Elephant in the Room, and that is the logo for our charity. As you can see, the elephant, you know, designed by yours truly. So we're really putting in a shift. We're putting in effort, and these people aren't going to get away with it. Like I said, if you look at the bottom there, you can see that's going to be running like as long as possible, 24/7 if possible. Like I said, I'm going to come out of the stream, and this will still be running. Look, I'll show you guys. I'll just turn off the camera right now, and then I'm gone. Adora's dad. Look, I'll show you right now. I'm gone, but you guys are still going to see this shit running. You get me? So this will be on 24/7. So everybody will see who unalived my child, and I may even just play the news stories about the issues at hand just 24/7. I might even play the ITV documentary on here. In fact, that would be a good one, guys. Should we react to the ITV documentary? If we reacted to the ITV documentary here, that would be fire, because it's like, obviously that's us in the documentary. And for those who haven't seen it or won't get a chance to see it, you can just watch it live with me and we'll just pause and go through it. I like how the numbers are moving. We've got 11 people in here, but I want to boost it, because if we're going to be doing this platform, we need some viewers. Where's all my star subscribers? Any star subscribers in the house? What's up, FAQ Toronto? What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining the live. I suppose it is 2 o'clock on a Monday. Maybe it's only me that's chilling on a 2 o'clock on a Monday. I have got a lot of stuff to do, but this is one of my things to do, to expose the people that unalived my daughter and covered up her death, expose forced adoption, expose corruption in health and social care. through our documentary, Elephant in the Room. Player said, I'm willing to help you expose the hospital if possible. What do you want me to do? Well, to be honest, I just want you to subscribe to our Star subscriber program. It's $2.99 a month. That's it. The money doesn't go to me, it goes through our charity. So I haven't withdrawn anything yet. It's going to be funding our documentary. We're trying to get to about £4,000 that will fund the documentary. Right now we have 12 subscribers. We usually get like 1 subscriber per stream nowadays. You can obviously unsubscribe whenever you want, but that's it, $2.99, or just like the live, share the live as Ari's done. You can just subscribe to us on YouTube. You know, there's a QR code there. If you can just screenshot the page and you can link to, you know, all of our platforms. We've got a confession booth people can use to tell their stories, whether they're a whistleblower or whether they've been harmed by health and social care in the UK. Just press on the link in. So if you go on this link on our link tree, you can press on the top link and it will give you a form that you can use to tell your story. You can also do a voice note and then let me know what your story is. And then your stories are going to get cross-posted to Carers Want Competence. Now, Carers Want Competence, thanks for the heart. Carers Want Competence is a Facebook page run by a guy called Mike Mazzaros, who, just like myself, we have both been arrested for stalking with intent, for trying to expose the corruption in health and social care. In my case, I was trying to expose Nottingham and the criminal mafia that exists in Nottingham City Hospital, where they cover up deaths routinely. Yeah, and I'm not shy to say it. So yeah, if you send us your story, if you have a story to tell, we are going to expose that through Carers Want Competence, because I'm now an admin on Carers Want Competence. I know Mike. I know a lot of other families that have been harmed. Please, guys, run up the likes at 2K. We're going to start reacting to this documentary. So I'm putting in a 12-hour shift on this, 24-hour shift. You know, I've quit my job. I used to work in medical sales. I no longer work in medical sales. I cannot work in medical sales because my job involved liaison with medical professionals, which, as a result of my severe PTSD, I can no longer do. Player said, I get my card this week, so I'll get some money on it. Subscribe. Thank you, bro. Like anything you do. And Star subscribers also get access to the stickers. They get access to exclusive Telegram releases. So I release videos on Telegram also. I don't know how whether you guys agree or not with my opinions. All I care about is justice for my daughter. But one of the videos I've reacted to recently is an abortion. I've reacted to an abortion. As people know, I'm pro-life, and I'm not apologetic. I do not apologize for being pro-life. So I reacted to that, gave my thoughts on that. I also speak about other topics, COVID, you know, other corruption topics that you can't really talk about on YouTube or TikTok. So yeah, there's more explicit reactions and more candid reactions on the private Telegram chat. There's also a public Telegram chat. So in the public Telegram chat, we want to get all of the people involved, like all the guys on this chat, just join in the Telegram chat, and you'll see slowly you'll get some really intelligent people starting to give you information. I know insiders on the Lucy Letby case. I know inside information about the Lucy Letby case. There's a link between our case and the Lucy Letby case. You know, there's a link between what happened to my daughter and another thing we've uncovered that's happening nationwide. Thank you for the finger heart, and other things that happen nationwide. In fact, I can tell you this one. So basically, what a lot of the hospitals are doing is they're coordinating with each other to send certain babies to different hospitals so that they can fudge their own numbers of baby deaths. So sometimes they'll localize the babies in one hospital and send them there. Like this hospital will be like a level 3, this hospital will be a level 2. And when this hospital thinks, oh no, we can't care for this baby, they might pass away, they'll send them to a level 3 unit. So that's what happened in the Lucy Letby case. They're sending the babies that are already going to pass away to, you know, other hospitals, but then they don't get registered as a death in that hospital. And I've got proof from Donna Ockenden herself, the head of the maternity review, that this is something that they're doing, i.e. they are changing terms of reference sometimes to with regards to what qualifies as a baby death on their own numbers. So they'll say, oh, it doesn't qualify as a baby death if they had care here and then went to another hospital. So that allows them to send children to other hospitals and then not register them as a death from their hospital. Does that make sense, guys? So I know a lot of this information because of the access we've managed to have through trying to expose my daughter's death. So any support, I'm not shy, I'm totally humble in this regard, in this pursuit of justice for my daughter. Any support, you know, we appreciate it. I've had people offer me money directly and I've declined. I don't want money. I can make money through my YouTube channel. That's why I'm building up my YouTube channel. So subscribe to my YouTube. But this TikTok channel is not to make money. It's to fund our pursuits through our charitable, our charity. It's a charitable cause. So all the subscriber money, that's not going to me, that's going to a charity. Obviously it's my charity, but the money, we're transparent, is going to fund our documentary exposing corruption in health and social care. We also have our own documentary coming out, which is being filmed by an actual film studio in the UK. So I'm assuming that we're going to get a contract for that at some point. But yeah, thanks for liking the live, guys. We've got 11 people in the chat. Guys, share the live, like the live. I do want to start, but I feel like we can do better than 11 people. That's all. We got 12 people. Okay, guys, share the live. I know it's Monday. I know, you know, the Americans haven't woken up yet. I know that, you know, some people are at work, but we're cool because I told you guys, this is how we're going to run it now. I'm literally going to chill, be off the live like this, in bed, sleeping, and this is going to be going 24/7. I'll put a video on here, maximize the screen size, and you guys can just watch videos. I'll line up a whole fucking stream of videos that people can watch that expose what's going on. That expose what's going on. Like this documentary I want to react to right now, Please Don't Take My Child. It got sent to me by Charlotte, who's somebody that helps us. Oh, hold on. Someone says just filed a form. Okay, I'm still getting a lot of customers for my business, which I've tried to put on hold, which is crazy. So as you guys, you know, if I really wanted to, I don't have to do this stuff. I could be working in medical sales and earning money, and I could be running my small business and earning money, and I'd be earning way more money than I earn right now. I don't earn anything off this. This goes to charity, and my YouTube hopefully will pick up. And I get fucking PIP, mate, because I have severe PTSD. So that's how rich I am, just so you guys know. But we want to build this to a really big platform. Thank you, Bram. He says great cause. It's halftime in the UK. Hopefully it'll pick up. I think it will pick up. Maybe TikTok has to get used to this way of me streaming. This was kind of almost like a test stream to make sure that the connection is cool and everything like that. Thank you for joining the live, guys. If you're new in the live, you know, stay for a while, chill, listen to what's going on. I know that sometimes I get restricted as well. My lives get restricted because I do talk about some spicy subject matter. But hey, we've got 10 people, I guess. We've got a lot of likes for the number of people. What do you guys think? Should we start the reaction? Let's start the reaction just so that we can see how the stream runs while I'm watching the video. I'm going to run the video. So this is a video sent to me by a mate of mine, and it's about forced adoption in the UK. So let us proceed. And yeah, guys, honestly, even the 10, 11 of you that are in the chat, I really appreciate the support. I know it's not a lot of people right now, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna boost up. It just takes time to figure out little things like this. So let's go. Let's start watching.
A 6-hour-old. A 6-hour-old baby is being taken away by social workers from his mother. It is a forced adoption, and this is footage the social workers never wanted you to see. Britain is the only country in Europe which commonly allows adoption without parental consent.
Adoption is for good, and as soon as we can place a child in a loving home permanently, better for all concerned.
The government's new Children and Families Act is likely to increase the number of cases.
So did you hear that? Adoption is for good. So if they fabricate notes to have your child taken off of you, you ain't getting your child back. And I know mothers like Karis Williams, I can name them, read them off. Karis Williams, there's another woman called Fiona, who I won't say her surname. I know mothers who have had their children taken and are fighting the family courts to get their children back right now based on fabricated information from the family courts. So social workers fabricate information, hospitals fabricate notes, and they get paid for medical legal reports. So people don't know this, that doctors actually get paid by the local authority to generate reports that are effectively sympathetic towards the cause of the local authority so that they can get the child taken. And the reason why the local authorities are so gung-ho with what they're doing now with basically child trafficking is because they're all going bankrupt and they have doubled their budget in the past few years for children, child protection. And so if they can go and traffic our children, they can justify a larger budget because nothing else that they do justifies the budget that they get. So they go justifying their budget through child trafficking, through creating under false pretenses cases where the children go in a child in need plan or end up on a care plan, interim care order. This is a racket in the UK, generating money for the local councils who are bankrupt because of fraud and mismanagement of funds in the United Kingdom.
Those who've been social workers for a long time went into social work primarily to support families. The reality now is that they are almost exclusively involved in child protection. And that is a major policy change.
An increasing number of mothers are so frightened.
So I've never seen this documentary before, guys, but as you can see, this guy has just confirmed what I've just told you, because I've seen the actual numbers. So local authorities' main job now is to traffic our children. That's where their budget is coming from. That's where it's going to. When they're telling you, oh, there's not enough, spaces in, the care system. The reason there's not enough spaces is because they are maxing out. You understand? They're maxing out so that they can justify the largest budget possible. And they're overextending themselves so that they can say, oh, there's not enough spots for children in the care system, which is like an excuse. Like, why would we be trying to force adopt your children? There's not enough spaces in the care system. But in reality, there is not enough spaces because they are maxing out, they're overdoing it, right, to justify an increased budget. And what will happen is, as they keep maxing out, people will keep asking for funding for children's social care, and then they'll get the funding, and then now they've got more money to pay people to siphon money off, to do their fraudulent schemes within their rackets, to run care homes and justify getting money weekly. So it's a racket. This is a criminal racket running with almost every council in the UK. And the people at the top in the country, they know about this. They know about this racket.
They are fleeing abroad, helped by an unofficial.
Shavana says, yeah, I was with 7 unregistered foster carers who did awful stuff to me. Yeah, everybody knows, we hear these anecdotes about children in the care system having the worst outcomes. And they do have the worst outcomes. They're the most likely to go to prison, most likely to end up on drugs, most likely to not graduate, most likely to commit S, most likely to, end up with children in the care system as well. They are exploiting the lower classes in the UK. You say it's mind-blowing. Do you know what's more mind-blowing about this? Is that this has been going on for hundreds of years. It's just become more complex, okay? So what they used to do is the little poor Koran, they used to call them Koran boys, the little poor homeless people in the UK, they would kidnap them, round them up into care homes, and then they would traffic them to the east, traffic them to Turkey, traffic them to the Algiers and all these places. And that's actually similar to how the white slave trade used to run. There was actually a white slave trade, people don't know about this, where Muslims in the East would traffic women and children to the East from the West. And that's why the UK Navy became extremely powerful, and the US Navy had a presence in Europe. The reason that they had a presence is because the white slave trade was so prolific to the Algiers, which is now Algeria, to these regions, in the Muslim world, that they actually built up their navy in order to combat this. This was also a reason for the Crusades, because they tried to negotiate with these nations for decades to try to stop the trafficking of white women and children to the East. And it was futile. And that ended up in wars on multiple fronts in Europe against the Muslim world. So that was one of the reasons for the Crusades. Is it was after in fact centuries of belligerence from the Muslim world against the Western world. And I'm not against Muslims. I'm just giving you historical facts. So the white slave trade, the trade and the trafficking of young children has been happening in the UK for hundreds of years. It's just changed forms. It's always been profitable, and it cannot happen without the consent of the authorities in the UK that govern the children. The reason why is because if you see a dodgy man just running around with kids, you're going to be like, what the fuck's that guy doing? But what the fuck's that white guy doing a bunch of black kids? What the fuck's that black guy doing a bunch of white kids? It looks wrong. They are only able to traffic the children from within the system, not from without.
Network of supporters.
Over in France here, they do not believe me when I tell them that they can take children for emotional abuse, let alone risk of it.
It is now hard.
Allergic says white meant traffic person, the Isle of Wight. Interesting. I might have to watch that documentary again. There's another documentary about child trafficking in the Isle of Wight. I've actually seen it before. I just don't know if I'll be able to find the link again. So yeah, the Isle of Wight has been known for very long time to be a hub for care homes, children's homes, abuse, trafficking. But I didn't know that that's what white meant. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Let's carry on.
Harder than ever for families which need help to stop their children being forcibly adopted.
It's a very, very worrying picture, because it means that we're just going to continue on this trend towards permanent removal of children
This is a film about the heartbreak of losing a child and the added pain of the secrecy that surrounds it.
I really miss him.
By the way, if you go to certain places like northern Turkey, Egypt, places where a lot of these mothers escape to, they know that the UK are trafficking children, because when these mothers get there, they go, oh yeah, UK social services again, because these are places, these are non-extradition, not non-extradition, it's just difficult to extradite from a lot of these places, and they have UK expat communities. So they go to these locations because they don't want social services to be able to, you know, put out international warrants for them and find them. And in these places, they are well aware of what is going on in the UK. Now, a lot of people think that social services exist to protect children and care for children, and that, you know, if a mother's running away, then, you know, she must have done something wrong. I can tell you that that is not the case, and that the majority of children are removed for frivolous reasons. In fact, I believe it's about 80% are removed for future risk of emotional harm. So they are, and if you actually are in the care system, many children, people in the care system or growing up in care will tell you, actually, yeah, a lot of the people that I was in care with, like, I don't know what their mothers did, like, and they like to keep it that way. And they use the media to create this perception that, you know, the care system's underfunded, and that, you know, they're not doing it on purpose, and that, if, you know, that's why you never hear stories about what the care system does to children, even though that's the bulk of the cases, but you always hear stories about what parents do to their children, to keep this narrative going in the public that the social services protect children, when in actuality, they are the primary cause of harm to children in the United Kingdom.
I really do. I really, really miss him.
As you can see, we're reacting to a documentary about forced adoption in the UK. For all of the people that have joined new, appreciate it, guys. Please run up the likes, please share. This is my platform now. We're doing big things on this, guys. Check out the links in my bio. Please become a star subscriber and fund our documentary exposing corruption in health and social care in the UK. My daughter, Adora Mediwako, please search her up. She was killed by Nottingham City Hospital. What I'll do actually is I'll let the documentary run for a bit, and then at certain checkpoints, I'll pause, and then we'll get to a like checkpoint so that we can boost in the algorithm, and I'll just talk and give you guys information and thoughts about things. So I might even take notes so that I don't have to keep interrupting the flow of the doc. But let's keep going on.
Last year, 1,860 children in Britain were adopted without parental consent. It's called forced adoption. The decisions are final. The parents cannot see their child until 18 years of age, and then only if the child wishes. This father had already lost.
Remember, guys, the only country in Europe that does this. And as they say, only if the child wishes, they will brainwash the children against their birth mothers. So when they say only if the child wishes, they will believe that their parents abandoned them, even if they were forced adopted. And again, I know children right now and parents who are going through this. This is an epidemic. And as Shavana said, I've just followed you, Shavana, because I would be interested in you being able to tell your story through our documentary, and I would like to see if we can give you a voice to the best of our ability. Like you said, they open a case against you because you were in care. This is what they do. They use people's past against them. It's a racket, guys. This is a criminal racket. Morning, Lemurian, how you doing?
Lost his older children to adoption because he and his wife couldn't cope without support. The decision to take this child was made by the courts before he was even born.
It was a home birth, pretty easy. I held my son. One of the midwives went outside and got on the phone to social services to tell them that there's now a baby boy.
Within just a few hours of the birth, social workers arrived.
Outside the door there was, I think there was 5 or 6 child protection policemen and women trying to convince us to hand over our newborn son.
Yeah, so as you guys can see, the NHS are complicit in this child trafficking. I'll say it again. That our NHS that everyone loves and cherishes, they are complicit in the widespread trafficking of children at birth. That is the best way that they get the children. They go at birth, it's secret, they do private proceedings, no one hears about it, no one knows about it. They use the police as well to kidnap people's children from their homes, and you will not hear about it. And if you post online about it, oftentimes you'll be hit with a gagging order. So this is organized crime involving the police the local councils and the hospitals. I've been speaking about this for months. They've tried to put a gagging order on me for similar reasons, not the same reasons, exposing the fact that my daughter was killed by Nottingham City Hospital in the Nottingham maternity scandal, which is the largest maternity scandal in history. So this is an organized racket, guys. Can we boost up the likes to 5K and then we will carry on? So everyone just joining, thanks for supporting the platform. I'd love any feedback on the new format, because I really want to start streaming like this from now on. We'll still do the topics and the debates, but this is also really good because it creates a new dynamic. I can also download these videos and then upload them on YouTube. So hopefully we can actually, you know, keep up with the YouTube content for all the people that miss our reactions. So yeah, any feedback, if you think, you know, talk less or let's watch more, whatever. To the star subscribers, remember, you guys have got stickers that you can send me. I'm going to listen to the star subscribers. So there's a sticker that says, there's a sticker that's like this. Oh mate, have a bit of water. If you send me that sticker, star subscribers, I will chill and say, okay, this means that I'm doing too much. So feedback is great. Hey Warrior, appreciate it. Is your YouTube the same name? The YouTube is called Stars Perspective. Now, if you want to access the YouTube, Shavana, screenshot this page. Screenshot right now, you'll see the QR code, and then just go on your pictures. You should be able to tap the QR code. It will take you to my link tree. In fact, I think I can even show you guys the link tree. Let me just, I want to play with this because I want to see what we're capable of on this so that the next streams will be even better. You know what I mean? So let me actually share the other page review, or the ERTR stars. So I'm going to show you what our link tree looks like. Let's stop. Replace screen sharing. Yeah, yeah. This is good, man. This is fun. We want to go link tree. Yeah. So this is our link tree. Perfect. Can everybody see that? So you can see it's called EITR stars. Link tree. The EITR. I mean, this link is in my bio, and you can see we've got a whistleblower booth, so you can actually click on this. Share this tab instead. Yep. So you can click on this, and you can see that you can fill out this form. What is your name or the victim's name? When did the harm events in question occur? Is someone in immediate danger? What happened? Which regulatory agencies have you contacted? Are you happy for this to be cross-posted to Carers Want Competence, a Facebook page with an audience of over 30,000? So I'm an admin on Carers Want Competence, so I can cross-post your story, and a lot of people will see it. Are you happy for this to be forwarded to the police? You know, you might want to press no on that one, because if they're involved in the corruption or cover-up, then you know, do you have pictures you want to send? And then I've even shown you guys that, look, you can use Vocaroo. So Vocaroo is just an audio recording software thing. So you can get the link and you just send me the link to your thing. You don't have to type it out if you don't want to type 1,000,001 things. Okay, guys. So just back to this tab. You see, Adora story. Yeah. And then we've got, so we've got what happened to Adora. If you want to hear about our story, we did an interview with a platform called The Stool. This is our story. Generally, we can't obviously give you all the information. Then we've got our YouTube. Then we've got Carers Want Competence. This is run by Mike Mazzaros, who's an ally of mine. This is our charity, Elephant in the Room. The story about our charity is that I used to have my daughter's spirit animal is an elephant. We used to have an elephant toy in the room that represented her when she was on the neonatal ward, and unfortunately she never made it home. And so we were just left with her elephant toy in the room. So I came up with this concept, Elephant in the Room, exposing the criminal organizations in health and social care in the UK. That's why the charity is called Elephant in the Room. This is our Telegram channel. So we want everyone to join this Telegram channel, all of us, the gang, right? The team, everyone in here that's like, you know what, I want to fucking do something. Join the Telegram channel, post the information that you have, share information, whether it's from Odyssey, Rumble, YouTube. Let's get a hub of links going. I put my exclusive YouTube video. So if you're a subscriber, you're going to get exclusive YouTube video releases in that as well. And then this is obviously TikTok and IG. Back to the topic at hand. So I hope you guys see that this is bigger than it's bigger than just me. It's bigger than just, you know, my daughter's death. I knew about this stuff before my daughter was killed. So, you know, some might say, am I a targeted individual or something like that? I don't know about all that, but, you know, it's possible. It's possible that, you know, you have certain information and these individuals don't want you to know it and they try to scare and intimidate you. I hope everyone can see this link well. Let's just amend it a bit. There we go. There we go. Okay. Shout out to Shavana. Thank you so much for purchasing the subscription. I really respect and appreciate you. And to be honest, I actually hope that you'll be part of our documentary. I would love to hear your story. Shavana, please go on to the link in our link tree and tell us your story through the video link. I'll even call you, so you can put your number in. If it says, would you like Ammon to contact you? I can call you back based on your story. What's up? You good? You're going, yeah? Could you bring them here? Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks, guys. As you can see, I take up time from my actual family life to get this stuff done. So I hope you guys understand that this is important to us because it's for my daughter. It's not about money or nothing like that. Are you going with grandma? You going with grandma, aren't you? Wait, is that all? Daddy needs a proper kiss. Give me a kiss. Kiss. Okay. Baby Peter. You going outside with mama? Or you going outside with grandma? Yay! Baby Peter. You going outside with grandma? Daddy kiss. Love you. Daddy bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Say dada bye-bye, dada. He looks tired. Bye, dada.
Oh, where's your hockey?
In my coat. Okay. There it is. Unfortunately, I believe that there is an epidemic of mentally unwell women of a certain background in this country. And these are the people that are typically social workers, and they are unfortunately trafficking our children. I don't know how they're able to get them in this kind of trance state. As you can see, these women, they know what they're doing. But when they go online and when they speak to their family and friends, they'll tell you, we do the best we can and we're underfunded and understaffed. These people are trafficking children, unfortunately. It's a very vulnerable demographic, a demographic that's easily manipulated, and they are trafficking children, unfortunately. Oh, you're not hearing sound on video on TikTok, so I can hear you, but not the video. Interesting. Okay. Okay, let's just restart it. Restart the share.
Arrested, aren't you?
I don't care. Do you think I care? You think I'm bothered if you arrest me?
And then they started pulling my wife's arms.
No! You're scaring me, which will scare him. Okay, well, I don't mean to scare you. And I definitely don't want to scare. So please, pass it.
You're causing trauma once it's mom. What do you think the baby wants as soon as it comes out? What's it for mom?
It. As soon as I got the baby out the flat.
Would you calm down if someone stole your child?
Goodbye.
This is happening up and down the country, and this is happening primarily, this is over 80% happening to parents that are not physically abusing their child, not involved in drug trafficking. This is future risk of emotional harm. They are literally fabricating reasons to steal children. What you just saw is happening up and down the country. The parents are being gagged by the courts and told that if they speak about what happened, that they will be arrested for contempt of court. They are oftentimes being framed with police cases. This is not one person this happened to. It's not people. This is thousands of people that this is happening to. There's a group that we're part of on Facebook. I think it has like 30,000 people in it. Not Carers on Competence. This is another group. I think it's called Social Services to Seek. Hold on, let me get the name of the group, guys. We're talking real life right now. I want to give you guys the resources that you can go and look up. Exposing the Social Services, the corrupt secret organization. So not 20K, it has 11.4K members. So you can imagine the people that this is happening to, that, you know, they're not part of the Facebook group. It's probably 10 times that, right? Or 100 times that in the UK that aren't part of this particular group. 1.5K online now. You've got people who social services or their children are in foster care, they get unalived. I know of a woman through another woman who 13 of her children have been taken by social services. Like, I think she used to have a drug problem. She no longer has a drug problem. Then she started having more kids, and then they just kept using her history to take her kids, So the foster carer that was dealing with her actually turned on social services and whistleblew. Her name is Whistleblower LS. She's on TikTok, Whistleblower LS, and she's actually potentially about to be gagged by the courts as well. And the foster carer exposed that there was a PDF file ring in her local authority, and she believed that that PDF file ring was exploiting this mother, using from within the social services, from within the care system, to continuously take this woman's children. And I believe that the child has actually been forced adopted again now, the 13th child. And the mother was just continuously having children so that social services wouldn't take one of the children. And then you can imagine that there's people that just go through family court cases and see the corruption, but their child doesn't get taken. 1% of children in England and Wales are in care, which is actually a lot of children. That's millions of children. I think it'd be millions or up to 1 million children. You know, maybe less, maybe 500,000. But then you've got hundreds of thousands of people that go through these experiences with the family court and with the care system, or that they were born in the care system and then they later have children. So it's a racket. They're just preying on the essentially the lower classes, mainly in society. Often people that can't articulate themselves well, they don't know how to represent themselves in court, they don't have the financial means to get a good lawyer or present a good defense, and they're being exploited by protocols involving the police, social services, and NHS hospitals and schools.
All I could do was hold my wife. Yeah.
Within an hour of social workers leaving, he posted the webcam footage of his son's removal online. In doing so, he risked imprisonment, as the details of child proceedings must be kept secret in order to protect the identity of the child. Parents are not allowed to tell anyone what's happening to them, and the media is forbidden from reporting any details.
That's why you guys don't know what's going on. To those that don't know, that's why you don't know what's going on, because it's illegal for them to tell you what's going on. It could be someone on your street that this has happened to, and they won't tell you what's going on. There's also a massive amount of social shame. I've been through child protection proceedings. I was innocent. I didn't do anything. And there's a massive amount of shame, and people won't tell you that this is going on. But this is rife. Like I said, the budget for most local authorities has doubled in the past few years. The fact that it's doubled means that you can bet your bottom dollar that that's a lot more parents being subject to care proceedings. Unless, even worse, the money is being siphoned off through fraud. Even better. Child trafficking and fraud. Oh, we love it, don't we? So I think Shavana and Leilani, hi Leilani, by the way, I think that the family courts have actually now been opened based on a ruling from, I think it was early January or 2024, late 2024. They're no longer closed, so the media can report on them. However, I can tell you guys what's gonna happen. The media are now gonna report on them, and what they're gonna start reporting on is all the horrible things that parents did to their kids. You understand? They're only gonna report the stories that back up their narrative of, oh, all of these horrible parents, we need more funding for social care, we need more funding for the NHS. That's the stories they're gonna report. They're not gonna report the time where, like in my case, where Nottingham Nottinghamshire County Council caused my daughter's death by delaying the release of my child from hospital illegally for 2 months, causing her not to be able to get treatment for a condition that killed her. And it was an easily treatable condition, but she died because they would not allow us to leave the hospital illegally. They're not going to report on that. They're going to report on the Sarah Sharifs and the baby P's and whatnot.
Martha Cover has specialised in child law for 25 years and believes there have been incidences where the law on secrecy has been taken too far.
The purpose of the legislation that protects the confidentiality of children's proceedings and the identity of children and their families is to protect them. But by a side wind, it's had the effect of also protecting poor local authority practice, poor social work, and inadequate experts and poor expert reporting to the courts.
Local authorities are required.
As I've stated, it's not poor expert reporting. They receive medical legal payments from the council. The council pay the doctors directly to generate reports. Are you biased or not biased if someone is writing your check? If your boss told you, can you write a report about how, you know, Gillian over there is performing, and you know that Gillian is in the boss's bad books? Are you going to say Gillian didn't do anything and the boss is framing her? No, you're going to say, yeah, I think Gillian could have done this, could have done that. So that's what's happening to the doctors. They are being coerced by the council to generate fabricated reports on mothers, families, parents. Sometimes they assess the relatives and say, oh, you know, the relative is not fit if they want the child to go to a local care home. Some of the social workers and the judges actually have investments in local care homes, so they will deliberately not allow the child to go with relatives so that the child can go into a local care home, and that then they get money for it. They get thousands of pounds every year, like literally thousands, like 50,000-60,000 pounds per child, and then the council will also get a budget for that child because they're considered to be a looked after child.
To ensure a child's identity is protected in family court proceedings. In this father's case, within days of posting his video, Staffordshire County Council started high court proceedings against him.
Staffordshire County Council, their response was to get it pulled off the internet as quick as possible. It just feels like an injustice. They just reach into your life and take it all away.
And the judges side with the council 80% of the time. These stats are public. They side with the council 80% of the time for interim care orders. That means that before you're even able to present your evidence, before you're even able to defend yourself in court, the interim process is favors the council. I think it's more. I think it's like 85% of the time or 88% of the time, which means you basically have virtually no chance of your child not being temporarily taken from you. And they can do things to your child when they're temporarily taken. They can speak to your child, tell your child things about you and that, you know, you're a bad parent, get your coerced statements out of your child. They can vaccinate your children as per, I think, a 2015 ruling. I think there's a 2015 and 2020 court ruling. If I'm not mistaken, there's case law on this. I can get you the case law if anyone's interested in that. I think it's 2015 and 2020 ruling that states that they are allowed to vaccinate your children, and that vaccination is considered to be in the best interest of the child. So on an interim order, without proving their case, without even having to present a full case, they can begin to strongly and permanently influence your children and influence your life.
And then they're telling me to be quiet about it.
This secret filming proved to be a game changer. In an extraordinary ruling last summer, the president of the family division, Sir James Munby, refused the injunction to silence the father. He said the veil of secrecy had gone too far. Martha Cover believes the ruling means that the local authorities can no longer assume their actions are protected from public scrutiny.
This is the judgment of the president of the family division, Sir James Munby, which refused the injunction sought by Staffordshire Council. And in fact, he was completely satisfied that allowing the father to do this would not risk identifying the child. So what he said was, I simply fail to see how naming the local authority, the social workers, the local authority's legal representatives, or the children's guardian, or even all of them, can in any realistic way be said to make it likely that J, who is the baby, will be identified, even indirectly. The risk is merely fanciful.
The parents have now had final contact with their baby. This landmark ruling has given them a voice. We asked Staffordshire Council why they wanted to stop the father's webcam filming being seen and whether the method of the son's removal was necessary. They did not respond specifically to these points, but they did say that placing a child into care is an absolute last resort, and it was the court and not the council which make the final decision based on significant concern for the welfare of the child.
We are moving rather rapidly, in my opinion, away from doing everything that is feasible and reasonably to be expected to keep children within their family of origin and moving to adoption very rapidly. And it's borne out by the statistics which are produced by the Department of Education. There's been a 95% increase in the number of court orders which are required in order to allow a local authority to place a child for adoption in the last 3 years.
Once a child has been approved for a potential adoption, it is incredibly tough for birth parents to ever get their children back. This woman got her children back from care this year. It took her 12 months of fighting. Under the new legislation...
And she would have got her children back probably from an interim period. Oh, thank you for the gifts. I can't see the gifts come straight up because of the way that I'm streaming right now. But yeah, it's very difficult for the parents to get their children back. Another thing is, with regards to that judge that came out, was it Monday? Oh, no, I don't think it was Monday. Judge, family court. Hold on. Oh, no, Justice Mumby, says show social workers the respect they deserve. He's not the right one. He's a fucking twat. No, actually, we don't tolerate bullying, discrimination, harassment of any kind. No, I don't want the live to get. Yeah, was it McFarlane? McFarlane. It was Lord someone. Comments on family court. Justice McFarlane, president of the Family Division, has frequently commented on the need for increased transparency within the family court, advocating for a more open approach on family cases while still protecting the privacy. Yeah, so it was McFarlane. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, I think I will look up some more stuff about Mr. McFarlane. Oh, by the way, guys, let me show you guys this. Let's share this tab. So press now to allow to report. So this is proof, just in case anyone doubted what I was saying. And this is great, actually, this format, because now every time I say something, I can just, whoop, there's a receipt. What you got to say about that, buddy? So yeah, press now allowed to report on family court cases. As you guys can see, this is as of January 2025, right? Accredited journalists can speak to families about their ongoing cases, report what they see and hear in court, and quote from key documentaries. Family courts determine cases that have profound effects, blah, blah, blah. And I think this will be further to the Sarah Sharif thing, although this might have already been in court. Sometimes they, you know, it's the chicken and the egg thing where it's like they put out the story because it promotes their narratives, like when they want to pass the Children and Wellbeing Bill. And then sometimes they capitalize on the fact that there is a story and that allows them to push a narrative. So, you know, the press works for, you know, the state, the organizations, the system. Do not get it twisted. Anything they put out is going to be in alignment with an agenda from the system. And how do I know this? The reason I know this is because I've seen how they operate. So they have press correspondents in every organization, whether it's a hospital or local council. They have press correspondents. Who is going to be the main people that a press correspondent, a private press correspondent speaks to? Someone from a hospital, someone from a council. When someone dies, where do they get the medical report about what happened? From the hospital, through their press team. When something happens, a child gets taken into care, or there's a failure in health and social care, they're going to go to the council. Who are you going to speak to? The press correspondent. You know, then they have the police who have a press correspondent, who they're going to be getting regular cases, information about criminal cases. So they speak to the press correspondents all the time. They know the press correspondent. And so they're not going to put out a story that ruins their relationship with Buddy over there in the police's press team, are they? No. So let's open our eyes, guys, to the people that, you know, I notice there's a lack of people now on the live saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, as soon as I'm able to show the evidence, and yeah, I've invested in the platform now. So as soon as we're able to show evidence, all the haters are no longer talking about, I don't know what I'm talking about. Is that because I can show the proof now? I'm just playing, guys. Thank you for sharing the live. And then also remember, they said a scratch. So it's like, what is worse? A child growing up with a parent that might spank them or they might get a scratch from on one rare occasion, or being in a care system which literally makes them the most likely to go to prison, be essayed, be subject to violence, join gangs, be unalived as a child, you know, everything, be odd, like every bad outcome, you know, is most likely in the care system. Every single outcome, prison, your own children then being taken. So it's like, how is it better to be in that system than to be with your parents who love you, who you don't know whether this knee scrape or back scrape or, you know, bone break is caused by them. Now, of course, it's a tricky situation because you have to balance it with children that are genuinely being abused. But what the problem is that they are far overshooting their mark, but then they're pretending that they're undershooting through the press. Yeah. So if you're going to overshoot the mark, let's understand that, yes, we're doing this on purpose and that there shouldn't be a stigma about going through care system. And people should just say, you know, care system, you know, this happens to everyone. Don't make it so private and secretive, because then people will recognize this is a necessary function to protect the children that are being harmed. The reason they make it private is because there's nefarious things going on. There's child trafficking going on. Otherwise, they wouldn't care if it was private, because everyone would be like, yeah, I had social services come around my door. It's like, say you're, you know, when you don't pay your TV license, no one gives a shit, because they're just like, everyone doesn't pay the TV license. So if they know, oh yeah, social workers just come around and do checks, no one would really like it, but no one would be, it wouldn't be as stigmatized. It's stigmatized because they make it private, and they make it private because they know that there's corruption. Oh, sorry guys, I need to put the other tab on. Yeah, so they'll cause you severe mental harm. And then when you react to the mental harm, they'll say, see, they're not stable. Like, they tried to say to me that my reaction to seeing my child get killed was a safeguarding concern because I was screaming and crying. They're like, oh, you were screaming and crying on the neonatal ward. It's not an appropriate environment. There were other children there. This raises safeguarding concerns. I'm like, I just watched my child get killed in front of me and it's being covered up. And you're telling me it's a safeguarding concern. Like, what are you talking about? I don't think you guys understand the amount of intelligence. Oh shit, I can't hear the video. Okay, no, it's good. It's good that you have made me aware of this, because I think that when I change between them, it messes up the audio. So let's just stop and start it. Okay, thank you for letting me know that when I share it on a different screen, it takes away the audio. Let's just rewind it.
With my children, with my husband, the relationship as a mother with my children, my way, my home, the way I fed them, had what I offered them to eat,
you guys hear
my routines.
Can you guys hear yet? I'll just wait until people tell me they can.
Boundaries, everything got scrutinised and pulled apart to the way that they said was not good enough. They didn't come in to offer support. At that point, you think, she took an overdose, this parent needs help, she needs support, and obviously there's problems, but they didn't.
Social services were actively seeking for prospective adopters for her children, while she was still trying to prove she was a good mother.
Well, I'd done loads of different courses. I'd done a parenting course, which even after, like, there was not one mention of any parenting, but I still done it anyway. I'd done a marriage course, even though there was no problems with my marriage. I'd done so many courses because I wanted to cover every avenue what they could throw back at me.
And then they will literally say to you, like, if there's no problems in your marriage, why did you do the marriage course? If you're not on drugs, why did you start doing drug tests? They will literally use it against you. It's like you literally can't win. And it's funny because it's just actually dawned on me as I was just like reminiscing of all the things we've been through. I was like, wow, now that I think about it, it's literally so obvious that they just put us through child protection proceedings to cover up the fact that they had harmed my kid. So it's like they're just making it look like I did it so that it doesn't fall on them because they actually were the ones that harmed my kid and killed her. It's so obvious, but I don't know why sometimes I feel like, oh, like people won't believe me and stuff. But then I'm like, why would someone not believe me when it's so obvious? like now I'm just thinking like, it's so obvious. Like I got my children back that we won in high court, but they gaslight you so hard, guys. Like they make you genuinely think you've done something wrong when you haven't done anything.
I wanted to prove that I didn't have problems in any of these. I was fighting back.
Her children.
Oh, Lilani said, what do we do if we're going through court proceedings? The problem is, it just depends. I say always take it to the High Court. So if you're in the family court, there'll be the High Court division of the High Court Family Court division, right? Always go to the High Court. Record them. You need to have secret. As soon as they say that they're intervening, you need to not have audio recordings. You need hidden cameras. You need hidden cameras, record every single conversation. You need hidden cameras. You need to start telling people in your family that this is really serious and that they might need to quit their job if they want to protect your children. Because like in our case, my auntie, two of my aunties and my mom all basically formed a coalition where they made a rota where they would literally just cycle to be at the house to take care of my son. And they basically made this cycle, and then they're all professionals. They all had to take time out of work and stuff. So you have to basically, if your family doesn't believe you, you're in a dire strait. If they love their job more than they love your kid, they're in a dire strait because your family needs to all come together like a unit, and also never sign anything, never sign any documentation they give you. If you want to make allegations against them, I would suggest wait until they've given your kids back, and just go along with it until they've got your kid back. And then when you get your kid back, immediately sue them in the High Court, like King's Bench. Immediately take to the King's Bench.
Children remained with foster carers for over 7 months as her struggle continued.
When I didn't see them, I thought I'm giving up. I can't do any more. They put that much pressure on us. I thought I can't go on, can't keep fighting like this. When I see them, I thought, how can I give up on them? How can I walk away from them? Because if I give up, it's walking away from them. And they need me. They need me more than anything in this whole world. But I've come so far.
Having finally satisfied both the courts and social services that she was a good mother, her children were returned. However, she remains on a supervision order, and the local authority could apply for another care order at any time if they believe they have the grounds to do so.
So for 12 months, I don't know, I just want to keep myself, like, perfect. I want to say the perfect parent and mother and person for social services, in their eyes. Not anyone else's, but their eyes.
And this literally causes permanent trauma. Like, I have nightmares every single night. I'm paranoid of every person. I have a phobia of certain types of women, which I don't want to speak about because it's sad and I don't want people to think I'm a hateful person. It's like, I'm scared. Literally, I'll be honest with you guys, when my kids go to sleep, I start panicking because I remember what my daughter looked like when she was dead. I panic, I check their pulse every time. I'm just scared, you know what I'm saying? I put myself as no fixed address. I don't tell people where I live. This shit ruins you. Ash said play the video. Right, Asher, guys, let's run up the likes to 7,500 and then I'll play the video. Since Asher wants to make demands on the live. Asher, run things here. 7,500 guys will play the video. I said I'll do intermissions anyway. 7,500. I'll use this opportunity actually to just encourage everyone. If you want to support us, all you guys have to do is screenshot the page. I'm joking, Asher, but I did say I'll take breaks. But screenshot the page and then just go on that QR code. It will give you everything that we do. You'll see all of it. So it takes nothing, guys. Literally, just screenshot the page and then just go on the links. Whatever interests you, whether it's the Telegram chat, whether it's the Facebook page, and you want to read other people's stories on carers on competence, yeah, just go on there, guys. Siobhan says, I'm doing EMDR therapy for PTSD. It's really starting to help. I might not be for you. I did EMDR before, but the guy, I didn't like the social worker, not social worker, the, I don't know what they're called, psychiatrist worker. He wasn't an actual psychiatrist. He was just like a support worker or whatever, so for psych. I didn't like him because I would tell him parts of my story and he'd be like, oh, but you know, I've never had problems with the NHS. It's not that bad. I'm just like, okay, I get that, but bro, we're talking about my story. So like, stop acting like what I'm saying is outside the realm of possibility, because it happened to me. So I don't think he really understood like me well enough. So when I do the EMDR, I would just be like, oh man, like I can't get into this. And then like he would always come to the session and be like, what do you want to do today? And I'll be like, bro, you're the fucking guy that I'm meant to be relying on. Like I have no strength left, bro. Like, he's like, what do you want to do today? I'm just like, work on stuff. He's like, what do you want to work on? It's like, I don't know. Like I have severe PTSD. Like what? Like why are you asking me? Yeah, guys, 7,500 will run the video again. And then crazily enough, so I've just actually had a response. This is on another note for anyone that follows what we do. I've just actually had a response from the insurance company about the bus that crashed into my bus. And they're asking for estimates for vehicle repairs, which is really good. Estimates must be on the repairing garage's headed paper and be fully itemized, detailing all parts and labor. Okay. Please also provide color photographs of your vehicle and the damage. Okay. I already sent them that stuff. On receipt of these, we can review your motor damage claim. Please also. So yeah, he's in the wrong job. Yeah, if there's no trust, then it will never work. Another letdown, for fuck's sake. Exactly. And guys, by the way, I'm sorry about the delay to responding to the messages and stuff. 7,500 guys, we're gonna run the video again. So yeah, I was in the bus and then another bus crashed into the bus and I was having a panic attack because I'm like, fuck, like, are the council coming for me again? Like, so this is how PTSD is. Like I used to think like when people say, oh, triggered, I'd be like, yeah, like look at those snowflakes getting triggered. And now I'm like, oh, what was that? Like, is that social services come to get me? You know what I'm saying? So you do get triggered. On a side note, I'm also kind of curious about the numbers on this live. Like I usually get like a minimum of like 50 people. So I'm just, every time I stream off of Restream, it seems like I only can get like up to 10 to 15 people. Like we haven't even hit 20, which is really weird. Really, really weird. So I don't know kind of how to respond to that. Yeah, but almost at 7.5. I'll run the video for a while actually. And then I'll come back in maybe in like 5-10 minutes. That part of your brain is hardwired to be in a constant state of alert. People don't get how hard it is yet. It's your cell memory. You have a cell memory in your brain cells and your body cells. And when you go through trauma, your cells actually literally remember what happened to you. One sec, let me just put this on my video.
Long battles like this to get children back are less likely to happen in the future with the new Children and Family Act now in force. The Act, which came into play in April this year, sets a target of just 26 weeks from when a child is taken from parents and a care plan is approved. Experts fear that as adoption is often part of this plan, the time pressure on parents to prove themselves capable is likely to be increased.
What if at the very beginning of proceedings you have a mother who gave up drugs when she was pregnant? She's now had the baby. But every expert in the field will tell you a minimum of 12 months of abstinence is what you've got to look for. We don't have time. We've got to make our decision within 26 weeks. That's the real evil of 26 weeks. And the result is that many lawyers and many judges are concerned that it's resulting in children being placed for adoption who shouldn't be placed for adoption.
My life was transformed by being adopted. I was, when I was just 4 months old, taken into the home of 2 people who didn't know me. They were taking a gamble on me. and they took me into their home and into their hearts. And as a result of that, I've enjoyed amazing opportunities.
The Act is a passion project of Education Secretary Michael Gove, a strong advocate for adoption, having been adopted himself. The new Act has heightened concerns about the way the system is changing amongst many professionals. Bridget Robb heads the largest body of social workers in Britain.
I am delighted that some of the politicians have had a good experience of adoption. That's exactly what we want for all children who are with adoptive families and what those families want. But to extend that to say, therefore, adoption is good for everybody is of itself naive and a political ideology.
All the social workers literally look like that as well.
The harrowing case of baby P sent shockwaves of anger and revulsion around the country.
High-profile tragedies in which social workers accused of neglect are being used by the government to strengthen the case for the faster removal of children.
In all too many cases, when we decide to leave children in need with their biological parents, we are leaving them to endure a life of soiled nappies and scummy baths, chaos and hunger, hopelessness and despair. These children need to be rescued.
The rhetoric of this government is much harsher than previous governments in terms of supporting adoption in contrast to the support given to birth families. And that is new, it is harsher, it fits very much with the language about welfare and the language about, almost call it an underclass of people who are not fit to look after their children.
Emma Campbell, an independent social worker, believes since baby P's death in 2007, many social workers are actually overcautious to the detriment of families.
Any high-profile scandal such as the baby P is going to be terrifying for any social worker. The sensationalisation and the demonisation of any social worker in the press will make a social worker think, what if this is me? And so going into a family where even the slightest doubt might be there for a social worker, then it would be easier for them to act on the side of caution and remove a child than perhaps think, let's see if we can keep a child within this family.
Exactly. So they believe that the side of caution is putting the family through the care proceedings and ruining their life. They don't believe the side of caution is not acting, even though the evidence shows that it's far more likely that, because basically they lose like 90% of their proceedings. So the evidence shows that there's like a 10% likelihood that the child is actually at risk of harm and a 90% chance that the child isn't at risk of harm. But they will put people through those proceedings anyway. And that's why I say it's not that what they're doing is always wrong, it's that it's wrong so often that they need to reform, and that they're overshooting their mark. Their budget is too high. They need to reduce the budget for social work, not increase it, because they're doing more harm than good at this point.
Judges rarely grant interviews, but the Honourable Sir Mark Headley, a retired High Court judge, has been given special permission to speak out.
There is a highly defensive atmosphere around, both in social services and in the state generally, about future disasters like that happening again. That has meant, I think, that there is increased regulation, there is an increased pressure on social workers to intervene where they might not have done so in the past.
Thank you very much. If you could kind of bunch in together and we'll do a quick shot.
The new Conservative candidate for Telford, Lucy Allen, has her sights set on Parliament. But 2 years ago, concerns were raised about her ability to parent by Wandsworth Social Services.
Oh, good morning. Hello, I'm Lucy Allen. I'm the Conservative.
If it hadn't happened to me, I would not have believed it, because I had absolute confidence in where our state operates. It wouldn't have occurred to me at that time that it could happen, until it did happen to us.
Really good to meet you. Thank you very much for your time. Cheerio.
I worked
Bye-bye.
on the Wandsworth fostering and adoption panels, where we would assess cases of most vulnerable children from most disadvantaged backgrounds. And in about 6 years of sitting on those panels, I don't recall any more than one occasion where the panel disagreed with the recommendations of the social.
Yeah, we had a whistleblower come on here and say that she was part of one of the panels once, And she said that she'd never met the families, didn't have enough time to read all the documents. And when they asked what decision should we make about if the child should go on Section 47, which is serious risk of future harm, she said that she just said yes to agree with everybody else in the room. She said she just didn't want to, she literally said she just didn't want to go against what all the other girls were saying. And so she agreed. And she didn't know anything about the case. So they rarely contradict each other. Like I said, they all work with each other as well. It's with the workers, I think that they're manipulated and they're naive, but at the upper levels, it's a racket.
Social workers, because the case had been made.
And then they can have one of those as well.
When I came to read a file about me and my family, some of the things that I was reading about us was more extreme than some of the files that had come to fostering panel. And it suddenly occurred to me that some of these cases might not have been any different to me.
Yeah, most of them, because social services are liars and they fabricate all the notes. I don't know what, I'm yet to figure out why they fabricate all the notes. I just don't know. But they do. And in my estimate, based on cases I've seen, I would say that upwards of 80% of the notes are fabricated. In ours, it was probably about 95%. It was from the medical notes, about 60% were fabricated. Then social services took the fabricated notes and fabricated more. So then it was like, by the time we got the report from social services, it was like 95% just fabricated. In fact, I don't remember reading anything in it that was true. The only things that they said was true is that, oh yeah, that we work well with the parents and that. But everything else was just fabricated, like to the point where like we were literally smiling and hugging nurses and laughing like 2 days before they came. Well, some of the nurses, not the horrible ones. 2 days before they came and was like, yeah, that you're a serious risk of harm, that all the nurses are scared of you. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? It's like, she hadn't even been there. She was just making shit up. Like one of the notes from social services said like, dad wants his children to be like astronauts breathing with no oxygen. I'm like, what? Like this came from me saying, when is my child ready to come off oxygen? Do you guys decrease it so that they can get used to the lower oxygen level? Or do you let them get used to the current level? And then when you see they're overshooting the oxygen, then decrease it. And then she was like, oh, I don't know what you mean. She didn't know what I meant. And then I was like, well, I've done altitude training before. So it's like, is it like altitude training where you get used to the lower level of oxygen, or do you let them grow into the level of oxygen they are and then decrease it? So she didn't understand. Then they changed what I said from altitude training to that I said, I want them to be like fighter pilots learning to breathe with no oxygen. Then they wrote, dad keeps removing the oxygen because he wants them to be like fighter pilots breathing with no oxygen. Then they changed it to dad wants his kids to be like astronauts breathing with no oxygen and keeps taking the oxygen off. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, bro? I've never been so confused in my life as when I read that report. Like, it was like I was reading about literally, like, think of the worst possible person you can think of. Like I'm talking about like an actual like PDF file, like a PDF file, or like there was no allegations like that against me, but like imagine like just the worst, like a Jamie Bolger, like this is an evil person, like he just wants his children to have no oxygen, he hates his kid. Like I'm telling you, the stuff that I was reading, my head was, I actually when she was telling me what was in the when she was telling me what was in the report, yeah, I literally had to say to her, can we have a break? And I literally said, can we just stop a sec? And I literally had to walk outside the room and literally like catch my breath. Like that's how like overwhelmed I was by the number of lies I was hearing. I was so fucking baffled, bro. Like I was like thinking to myself, yeah, like we're such good parents. Like look at me, like we're here every day. Like I've been doing the chronology alongside them. I've been reading up on all the medical reports. Like I've been doing my own medical research. I've been like telling the staff like this, and they've been taking our recommendations, and it's been working. And like my wife's there, she's caring for them. They can see that I work regularly. They can see I work in medical sales. Like my dad's a doctor, my mom's an NHS director. Like my auntie's a social worker, my sister's a radiographer. I'm literally thinking like, bro, like what, like what, like it's so obvious that we're just good parents. So then when I'm reading this, I'm just like, what? And then she's saying it to me with like a stern face, like, yeah, you did this. I'm like, what? And I'm like, I literally said to her, Angela, like, you realize that none of this happened. And she's like, well, you would say that, wouldn't you? I'm just like, no. I'm like, are you sure it's not a misunderstanding? Because like, it's possible that like you've just misread the notes. So at first, I thought that they had misread the notes. So at first I wasn't saying they falsified the notes. I was saying that's not in the medical notes. Because I was like, I've been there with the nurse and the doctor. So why would they write that in the medical notes? Because I was like, I was there and they were smiling at me and they was agreeing with me. So I was thinking like, why would they write them? So I was saying to them, it's not in the medical notes. It's not in the medical notes. So then when I actually got the medical notes, a lot of the stuff wasn't there, but a lot of the stuff was there. So then I started realizing like, oh my fucking God, the nurses are in on it. Like, can you imagine the fear and confusion? Like, where I'm thinking that, because they're looking at me smiling, yeah, hi Emma, how you doing? And then they're going and writing lies about me. So I'm like, bro, then I'm thinking to myself, like, this is literally all white nurses. There's like 90% white nurses, all young. Like, every time we get into an issue with them, they start playing the victim and lying. So I'm literally just like, how am I going to prove that these people are lying? I was just, so anyway, that's like my experience with them, is that they just fabricate everything. But let's go on.
She made a very nice lunch afterwards.
Yeah.
So I suppose we'll get to the pub.
Well, I loved it because it was...
Life appeared to be going well for Lucy, but in 2011 she started suffering from depression. Worried about the effect on her son, she decided to visit her GP surgery to seek help.
Well, I told her that I was feeling very down, I was very tearful, and I was worried about my son, and I think that was for her an immediate trigger of concern.
So tomorrow, what are we going to do tomorrow?
But it would have been within about 5 minutes of meeting me, she announced that she felt that our family needed social service intervention. And for me, that was a huge, huge shock, and I couldn't quite understand. I kept saying, so why?
The GP followed guidelines, and 4 days later a social worker arranged to meet Lucy at home. The system had kicked in and she was now being assessed as a fit mother.
She started saying things like, very leading questions, this is the most depressed you've ever been in your life, isn't it? And I said, well, no, not really. And you've got clinical depression, haven't you? And I said, well, I don't think that the doctors suggested that to me. And then towards the end of the interview, she said, and now I need to talk to the police. And immediately, I thought, okay, this is serious.
From her own...
And this is why the police won't investigate our case, because they have a police officer there when they make the decision to escalate. So the police are in on it. The police are in on it, guys. Seriously.
Professional experiences, Lucy knew that she had to act fast. She got an independent mental health assessment and she gave this to Wandsworth Social Services.
A consultant psychiatrist had said this person is no risk to herself, no risk to her son, no risk to any third party. She's got a moderate depression, which could be treated with counselling and antidepressants. And at that point, I thought that was closed. The matter was closed. And that was all within the space of about a week. That was end of, as far as I was concerned.
Lucy then obtained a copy of an open letter sent by Wandsworth Social Services notifying her son's school and the police of their investigations.
A letter setting out these concerns of serious mental health impairment that would have a significant impact on parenting, written to whomever it may concern, not marked private or confidential. I remember thinking, oh my God, I know what happens next. Because you don't leave a child in a family in those circumstances. You just do not.
It is normal procedure for social services to flag up an investigation to relevant authorities such as the school and police. But what Lucy didn't realise at the time was that social services had made an official record of their suspicions.
They had ticked a box on their file saying that this child was at risk of significant harm from his mother. And that is a permanent record and has to be disclosed should I seek a CRB check for any work with children in the future.
Lucy felt she had to start legal action in order to establish her child had never been at risk of significant harm.
It was a big legal battle. We had solicitors, we had top QC, and that's the sort of
resource that's not available to everybody.
Lucy discovered that social services made an official record of their original concerns without conducting the usual preliminary investigations. It took 2.5 years for Lucy to receive the confirmation she needed to wipe the slate clean.
But we have now received this letter saying categorically that they did in fact find that my son was happy and well and not at risk of harm.
Wandsworth
The unfortunate truth that many people might not like to hear is that one thing she had on her side, similar to what I have on my side, is when you come from a middle class background, they're less likely to exploit you. If they see, okay, you've got a family network, you're going to be able to sue, you know, you can write a decently worded letter, you know, you can get people to advocate for you, you have access to the press, or you can expose them, then they will, they'll close the proceedings. She was lucky enough to get an admission of fault in some way. In our case, we haven't necessarily had that yet, but we haven't formally put our allegations to them in court. We've just sent them a letter before action. So of course they're going to deny. You know, if they don't know what the evidence is, they're going to deny because nobody holds them accountable when they lie, because you're allowed to lie in court pretty much. It's up to the judge to determine who's lying and who's not. So they're going to deny it, but I think eventually they will admit fault in our case because we've got too much evidence. But yeah, the point I'm making is that a lot of people don't get to that point. You know, if they don't have good command of English or whatever, it's going to be difficult for them to ever get their kids back. And even if they get their kids back, they're not getting an admission of guilt. Star said, which type of solicitor will deal with this, please? It will be family law solicitor. And if you're making allegations of criminality, you need a criminal lawyer. If you're making allegations of medical negligence, you need a medical lawyer or negligence lawyer. So this spans different, or a civil lawyer. This spans different sectors of the legal system because they're all in on it. Unfortunately, in order for them to take your kids, it's not one agency, it's multiple. It's the NHS, it's the social services, and it's the police. At minimum, those are the 3 agencies involved in the Working Together to Protect Children protocol. Minimum. And then it will be any like previous mental health assessments that are on your record, you know, anything you've ever been through. They might even speak to people that, you know, your school, the school might be another one, but at minimum, for a child to be taken, it will be the NHS, police, and NHS, police, and social services. And then in many cases, it might also be, you know, like a school or like a mental health facility or a care home. They have tentacles in every organization. So one guy told me in describing the systems in the UK, he said that they're all the same thing. And he said that the genius of the UK is that they're able to call this one social services, this one police, this one that, this one this, and it's actually all the same organization. It's the state, because they have protocols that make them the same. Effectively, they effectively work together. So you think that you're dealing with different organizations, and you're actually dealing with the same organization, and that's actually the genius of it. Star said, my daughter's medical notes were fabricated by a doctor in hospital. It was shocking to read the files, to read the lies. Sorry, Star, please go on the link. If you screenshot this page, you'll see there's a QR code that says links to all our platforms. Click that link, and then the first thing that you should see should say, click here to tell us your story. So you can do a video or a Vocaroo voice note, or you can use otter.ai and just tell us your story. Even if you do 5 minutes, please, I would like to hear your story, because we're making a documentary exposing cover-ups in health and social care in the UK and corruption. And my daughter died as a result of fabricated notes in the largest maternity scandal in NHS history, which is the Nottingham maternity scandal. So we are in the press regularly. We have press connections. We have connections to different, you know, we're actually meeting with the Secretary of State soon, not just us, but as a Affected Families group, we're meeting with the Secretary of State. So we are getting there to the point where we're going to be able to advocate on behalf of others. And that's why we're making a documentary. So please, I'm begging you, tell us your story, because we actually, we hope to be able to help people. You know, this is important to us.
Council failed to explain why they not followed usual procedure, but they did say the council has a legal duty to investigate all child protection and safeguarding concerns properly, regardless of the family's background. It concluded that as a consequence of inquiries conducted over a period of 12 days, her son was not at risk and that no further action was required. There is generally a concern.
Thanks, Siobhan. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you, becoming a subscriber. Guys, if you want to join Subscriber Gang and help fund our documentary expose in health and social care in the UK, we've got over 60 people part of our contact list. We're getting to 70 now, and that's not including the people that hopefully are going to use the form to tell us their story. Shavana, I'm hoping that you use the form to tell us your story as well. I would love to hear your story. Just get a voice. There's Vocaroo. Just do a voice note for us, even if it's 2 minutes, 1 minute, 10 minutes. Breathe, tell us your story, and I'll get it all typed up, and then I'll give you a call if you put your number on the form. Love to you as well, Siobhan. I'm sorry about what you've been through also.
That in the wake of Baby P, loving families all over the UK are suffering as we strive to protect our children at any cost.
It is a climate of fear, a climate where people cover their backs, a climate where people want to try and do their best by families, but also know that they've got to play this game safe for them as an organisation, safe for them as a worker, not just safe for the.
They care way more about themselves than the families. They don't care about the families at all. As you can see, like when they killed my daughter, nobody cared. Nobody made any inquiry as to how she died. Nobody sent their condolences. They don't give a shit.
Child.
The French Riviera, an unlikely place to find supporters of British families fighting adoptions. But a British multimillionaire based in the south of France has made it his mission to try to stop forced adoptions in the UK.
And have they threatened to eventually take the baby from you or not?
Ian Joseph says he receives 1,000 calls a year from parents seeking legal advice and will even pay for them to flee Britain.
Yes, I have the usual.
I'll be honest with you guys. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but see what you just heard? That's something that I want to work on once we've won our case and stuff.
Usual number of emails today. I always get about 2 or 3 completely new cases every day, and 3 or 4 or 5 follow-up ones. Just as a sample, you've got here a young girl, she's 19, she's pregnant. What's she worried about? Because the social services say they're going to take her baby at birth. And they've told her so. Why? Because there's a risk of emotional abuse. Over in France here, they do not believe me when I tell them that they can take children for emotional abuse, let alone risk of it.
Mary, not her real name, is in France on the run from British social services. After concerns about her mental health, they decided to take her older children away. So when she became pregnant with this child, she was desperate to keep him. On the advice of Ian Joseph, she fled to France. She has agreed to speak to us anonymously from a secret location.
So remember, guys, when you see stories in the news about, oh, parents looking for this child, parents looking for that child, mother missing, a lot of the time they're missing because they're running away from social services.
He gave me a lot of advice on what to do, where to go. I just kind of hoped for the best, really. I didn't really know if I could trust him or not. He said that it would be better to leave the UK before the baby is born, and he also advised me to contact local social workers in the area of where I went to. I didn't want to leave because obviously I still have 2 children in England. I had no other choice. If I stayed, they would have taken my new baby, and I just couldn't let that happen.
In Britain, one
Star said, is there a link I can go to? Oh, the scanning code. It's got writing on it because of, oh, okay. Why has it got writing on it? Is that from TikTok? It's got writing on it. Okay, I might have to move it or something. Right. Yeah, the link is in my bio. If you go on my TikTok page, the link is in my bio. It's the first link. Oh, it's being covered by the comments. Is it not possible to hide the comments? Okay, damn. Hold on, I think I can actually do something about this. Let's do this. Oh, is that how you do it? Yeah, hide comments. Hide comments should work it. But realistically, I do need to move it somewhere else, don't I? Is that better? Does that allow you to look at it? Well, you might have to hide the comments, to be honest. Anyone can swipe to the right. Okay. Yeah, if you swipe to the right, that should let you do it, apparently.
Once a child is removed, that parent can expect social services to be automatically involved in the fate of any future children.
When somebody becomes pregnant who has already had a child removed, there will be a much quicker assumption that that child, when it is born, should also be removed. Political pressures and the financial pressures on the services at the moment are not to take the risk.
And it's also strange because in a normal court proceeding, that would be the definition of prejudice, using something in a previous proceeding to bias this proceeding. But for some reason, there's no such thing as, in fact, the Children's Act needs to be repealed, because the Children's Act means that if something is considered to be in the welfare of a child, that everything takes precedent over it. But the problem is, due process can't take precedent over, the welfare of a child can't take precedent over due process. Because otherwise, you're just not acting according to the law. It's like saying because someone got killed, we're no longer going to follow the rules of law and the rules of engagement in court, and we're not going to give them a fair trial. You can't do that. So the Children's Act is actually wrong. It needs to be repealed because the welfare of a child cannot take precedent over a fair trial. Because then you encounter the problem that your child can be taken based on them saying it's for their welfare, but then they used unfair methods or illegal methods in order to come to that conclusion. Like, for example, prejudicing your trial with information about what happened with the previous children.
And to bring that child into care, them onto adoption as soon as possible.
I get so many people, but the ones that get me rattled the most, I suppose, are the pregnant ladies, because what chance have they got and what chance have the children got? I tell them the best thing they can do if they're pregnant is to leave, because no one can stop a pregnant woman leaving the country. They can't put an order on a fetus. They've tried, and the judges ruled no, that they couldn't do that.
Does it ever bother you that you're not qualified to give legal advice?
Well, I think I am, honestly, because I've got a law degree from Oxford, but that's 50 years old, so the law has changed a little bit since then. But what I have got is, I think, more experience than any lawyer in the family courts, because I have 1,000 cases at least every year, so I know the way round.
How can you be sure that social services don't have good reason to remove their children?
I can't be sure. In the same way, you might as well ask a lawyer, plenty of people do, saying, how can you possibly defend this pedophile? Well, for a start, you can't be sure he is one, and everyone is entitled to have someone to defend them, and that's what I'm doing. You can't judge people. I'm not there to judge anyone. I'm there to help anyone who asks.
Ian is part of a growing unofficial network of people across Europe who advise parents on how to flee Britain, regardless of consequences. For a heavily pregnant woman like Mary, such a journey can be terrifying.
It was very scary. I was sitting on a train, not knowing where I was going. I had no idea of what was going to happen when I arrived in France.
With no long-term accommodation organised, she was vulnerable.
I was sitting at a bus stop and I broke down in tears, and that's when I picked up the phone and called Ian.
Do you worry that you're undermining efforts to protect children?
Well, I don't think so. I don't see how it can be undermining the efforts to protect the child when they want to give the child for adoption.
What kind of questions? Literally, what kind of questions? Do they ever sit down and ask social workers this? Like, are you worried that you're a piece of shit that fabricates notes about families in order to kidnap their children using the state, and that the families are powerless to do anything, and you seem to be on a power trip about doing it and play the victim when you're called out on what you do? Are you concerned about that? Like, they never ask them any like legit questions like, oh, I know you're understaffed and overworked. And so, like, for some reason, the only people in this country that are allowed to be underpaid, overworked, understaffed are nurses and social workers. Everybody else is just, fuck you, bro, that's life. Like, get on with it. But if you're a nurse or a social worker, oh, you poor little thing. Oh, you poor little thing.
Advising her to leave the country, I think she saved the child.
It was Ian's contacts that eventually found her a safe house in rural France. From there, she was able to give birth and raise her baby.
So far, my experience of French social services is the complete opposite of UK social services. Helpful, supportive.
You like the ducks?
When the
Exactly. So reform is actually possible. So it's not like other countries don't have social services, but it's only like the UK, mainly the UK, Australia, and the United States, where this forced adoption thing is happening. Like, for example, with Take Care of Maya, and we're going to do a reaction to Take Care of Maya as well. I might actually get Sharma on, my wife, to do that with. That'd be pretty fun, actually, because most of you guys have never seen Sharma, and we said we're going to watch it, so we can even put it on the big screen and watch it along with you guys. It's possible for reform to happen in social services. They don't want it to happen because a lot of these legacy organizations in these countries make money through child trafficking, and they call it something else, but it is child trafficking.
came to the house.
Tanya said, how do you challenge fabricated records? You need to make audio recordings or video recordings, or have credible witness. That's it. There's no other way, because they're going to believe their record of events over yours unless you have proof that they're lying. Or you have to make a chronology alongside them of every single thing that happens, and then find logical inconsistencies of things that they've documented and things that you've noted with a timestamp on your chronology. I'll give you a perfect example. In my chronology, it says that I caused a 40-minute delay to treatment on one occasion, and that was used to justify Section 47. Now, I've made a chronology alongside that which details what happened. Why would I write why would I write a different version of events before I even know that they're going to fabricate the notes against me? I only found out they're going to fabricate the notes fabricated in December. So why did I write in October or September what actually happened, and why is it different from what the nurse said? Then on top of that, now that I've got my chronology, I've got my version of events, I know what's happened. So what did I do? I went, got my phone, did a forensic download of my phone. Yeah, I downloaded the health data on my phone. There's something called Apple Steps, yeah, and Apple Distance, I think. And I literally used the Apple Steps and Distance to show that at the exact time of the conversation, I was standing here, the conversation takes place, and then I move 100+ meters away, and then I have a picture on my phone which has a location metadata timestamp about 20 minutes later at my home. How is it possible for me to move 100 meters away, and then if I went anywhere else from there other than home, how did I get home, which is 20 minutes away, in that time? So that means that when I was standing here and then the 100 meters, and then I'm 100 meters away, it means that that's when the conversation ended, because I could have only moved 100 meters away, and then I couldn't have gone back because it doesn't work with the time frame. I must have gone home from there. So I proved, using my chronology and using obviously my methods, that that note must be fabricated. It is impossible for that to have been a 40-minute delay. Now, obviously, I already knew that it's impossible for it to be a 40-minute delay, but the point is, how do you prove it, right? So that's how I proved it. Well, that's how I will prove it in court. I hope that helps.
They told me that there's no reason to take him. Absolutely none.
Please let him butt his head.
In short, you have to be clever, unfortunately. You know, if you're not sharp, if you're not shrewd, if you're not witty, if you don't have a healthy distrust of the medical system and the social care system, you're in for a shocker when you realize how corrupt these people are.
It's very upsetting knowing that you can never return to the country where you're born and where you come from. You can never see the places where you grew up or the people you grew up with.
With the exception of the United States, this country has the highest proportion of children who are permanently removed from their natural family and placed for adoption against their wishes. In other words, they're opposed adoptions.
So this is one of the Bibles of social work. It's what all social workers are given to work from the government. And in it they have a definition of emotional abuse. And some of the things that are included under that definition is making fun of what they say or how they communicate, interactions that are beyond a child's developmental capability.
Interactions that are beyond a child's developmental capability. Now, I know personally very well, and I have known for my whole life, an individual who their children were performing beyond school level. They were doing more work than what the school was giving them. They were doing extra work at home, really excelling, went to a good school, performing 2-3 years beyond their age capability. Social services stated that that is a safeguarding issue, that they are performing beyond their age range, because they're saying that the reason why they're supposed to perform at their age range is to not overwhelm them or not to put them under stress, and that can be seen as a form of abuse, that their child is overperforming at school. So now it makes sense when you see that this is their little Bible. In fact, what is this called? Let me just rewind a sec. I want to know what this is called, because I might actually have to get myself a copy of this.
With the exception of the United States, this natural family and placed for adoption against their wishes. In other words, they're opposed adoptions.
So this is one of the Bibles of social work. It's what all social workers are given to work from the government.
Oh, they didn't say what it's called. I'll look up what that's called so that I have a PDF copy of it, so that when people come and chat shit to me, then I'll just be like, oh, let me get out the Bible. In chapter 17, verse 2, it says, thou shalt not allow a parent to administer their duties as a parent without causing them significant distress and making false allegations against them. How do you respond to that, Mr. Williams?
And in it they have a definition of emotional abuse. And some of the things that are included under that definition is making fun of what they say or how they communicate, interactions that are beyond a child's developmental capability, overprotection, limitation, exploration and learning, preventing the child from participating in normal social interaction. And one of the problems with this definition is that you can very easily find two social workers going into the same situation and drawing very, very different conclusions. And whilst one might conclude this child is at risk of emotional harm sometimes.
Sorry guys, one sec, I just want to find this out. What document do all social workers receive upon becoming a social worker that they use to discharge their duties? It says they receive the professional standards for social workers, outlines the ethical framework of responsibilities and professional expectations. They receive a code of ethics for social work issued by the British Association of Social Workers. CARE Act 2014 statutory guidance. Wow, so they actually know about the CARE Act. Interesting. Doesn't seem like they're following that. Oh, it seems like Mr. Maduako's got further evidence against these people now. Actually, I need to write that on my chronology, because if they get a copy of the CARE Act, then that means that any breaches of the CARE Act, they can't act like they were unaware of it. And in fact, it would be a statutory duty for them to follow it. So not only is it a statutory duty, but they're given a copy of it. They have access to it. That enhances their culpability. Hold on. So, social workers receive a copy of professional standards, code of ethics from PASW, CARE Act 2014, and Children Act 1899. But we know they'll get a Children Act, but they'll just say, well, it says here that we're allowed to do anything in the best interest of the children. They love Children Act 1989, but they're, well, are you going to talk about CARE Act? Falsification of notes, that's CARE Act 2014. So you have a copy of it. Interesting. Angela George, social worker working for Nottinghamshire County Council. Although I don't know if she's actually we don't tolerate bullying, discrimination, harassment of any kind. We love her, by the way, guys. We love her. She's a really nice person, really great person that doesn't lie about anything. She's a really, really kind person. Definitely not involved in my daughter's death. Okay, so let's press play. Sorry, guys.
Time in the future, another social worker might look at the same case and not see evidence of that, and both social workers could find evidence to support their own conclusion, making them both right.
I had a case where the social worker kept reciting like a little mantra in the long statement she'd filed. The mother fails to put the child's needs before her own needs, and there was no example of this.
Does the Care Act, Zania says, does the Care Act make reference to fabricated records? Right, you're going to make me go into the vault now. See, guys, I do this for you. Like, I really do this, bro. Like, I really look this stuff up. Okay, I want to go into the vault. The Care Act. Hold on. Yes, false and misleading information. False and misleading information. Let me double check that. I believe false and misleading information falls under the Care Act 2014, yes. I'm going to check that for you, Zania. I'm going to check it for you. Hold on. Hey! Yeah, false and misleading information refers to Section 92 of the Care Act 2014. Guys, I do this. Section 92. Okay, next time, now I know Section 92. I'm going to say Section 92. Okay? That's going to take me a step further. Say it with me. Section 92. Okay? For all the people that say, do you have a law degree? I said, Section 92. I know about Section 92, mate.
And so we pressed her for an example. Can you please give us an example of the mother failing to put the child's needs before her own needs? And the judge pressed her as well because she couldn't think of an example. And she finally gave an example, which was that at the end of a contact visit, the mother put her own coat on before she put the child's coat on. Now, that's just absurd. And she was driven to give that example because she just recited this phrase as a mantra, and it was meaningless.
The Department for Education said they have carried out a review of the training for social workers and are now considering changes to ensure best practice. The government is using targets and funding to speed up adoptions and is giving less money to help families stay together. And the fear is that vague categories like future risk of emotional abuse are being increasingly used against birth families.
As there's less time.
Birth families. That's one of those like weird like things that they describe to try and make a distinction between someone's actual family and then the family that they want them to have. You're the birth family. Like, that's their family, bro. Like, the birth family.
Less people, less resources to help families earlier on, then there is pressure to move them quickly through into adoption because that's where the money is.
Heather Toomey is a mum of two who has experienced how quick the system is to presume guilt when she and her husband were accused of physically harming their son when he was a baby. Now she campaigns to help parents who have been falsely accused.
It's quite straightforward from the doctor's perspective. Could this have been a non-accidental injury? If the answer is yes, which it is, in almost all these cases, they refer them on to social services, and that's the only dealing really they would have with the case. It then goes to social services, who then say,
Oh, Calamity says our family are about to be effed over. Oh, that's so sad to hear. Can you please fill out the form? Fill out the form. Everybody say it with me. Fill out the form. Link in bio. You can tell us your story. It will get cross-posted onto Carers on Competence, and people may reach out for help. It gives you an opportunity to put your number in. I'll also reach out to you for help. So all we can do is put you in contact with other people. You know, I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. So that's all we can do. But if you feel that you need support, I'm there. Like, I've quit my job. I take time out to deal with these matters, because obviously we're working on projects. So, and it could be that, you know, through our documentary, we might be able to give some exposure. But yeah, that's all I can say. Please fill out the form, because you never know who can help you as well. Like, I'll tell you something, right? When we first called up to the maternity review to be part of the review, they told us that we couldn't be part of the review because it was death or serious harm to a mother or neonate, and my daughter hadn't died yet. And then they said to me, but hold on, there's a guy called Jack Hawkins that you can speak to. He's got a group on Facebook. So I went on this group on Facebook. I met with Jack, you know, I wrote a few posts on the group, and then my daughter died, and then they put me as part of the review. And then Jack had a few conversations with me. And I think, if you want me to just be honest and candid, I think he just saw something within me that he said, yes, I want you to be part of the kind of core thing. So come to the meetings with us when we do the meetings and stuff. Sometimes I think, like, well, also, you know, in terms of representation, it's important to have different people from different backgrounds as well. But I think that he just thought, yeah, this is a good thing that I'm part of this group. So as being part of the group now, you know, we have made great strides. We've been in the documentary Maternity Broken Trust, which has had over 1 million views and counting, and has been nominated for a Royal Television Society Award as of like 2 weeks ago or last week. We've been in the press multiple times. We've met with, you know, different people, chief nursing officer, you know, head people, the CEO multiple times. Donna, we meet with Donna. I was just met with Donna the other day. And this is not because our story is more important than other stories. This is because we were lucky enough to be put in a position by somebody. You understand? This is a blessing. This is a light in a dark place. You understand? So, and then now we are planning to meet with people that are actually in primary government roles. I'm not going to say, you know, I'm saying exactly who, but this is a big. But look, you know, we've got to have to like prepare letters for our MP and stuff, and we could be meeting with people that, you know, are right next to the Prime Minister. Let's say, I'll just put it that way. Multiple people that are right next to the Prime Minister, and this is all through confiding in a single person, and then them putting me in connection with someone who knows more than me, is better connected than me, is more experienced than me. And on some of my other lives, I talk about this concept of mentorship, where I feel that the best way to be successful is to find a mentor and listen to them. Now, it doesn't mean that you listen to the mentor because you want to gain something. You have to have a genuine desire to want to achieve something, and then that person may see something in you. And then if you can offer them value in some way through your story, through your experience, through your passion, through your ability to, you know, go hard for your family, whatever, then that person may wish to help you. And since losing my daughter and being in the darkest place a human being can possibly be in, I've come to realize that in the same way that there's darkness, there's also light. So in the same way that there are extremely evil people who harm children and cover it up, there are people that will go to the ends of the earth to help you for no reason, just because that is who they are as a person. And they'll sacrifice themselves to help you. So I know that was a lot of bullshit for me to say, to tell you to fill out the form. But the reason I'm saying it is not because I think, oh, I can definitely solve your problems. It's because I just think that it could be that someone that we all connect with as individuals, it could be that one of those people could put us in the kind of position that I was lucky enough to be put in, to advocate on behalf of my daughter and advocate on behalf of my family.
Well, a doctor's told us it's potentially a non-accidental injury. If you can't account for it, then your children will be removed. And the speed at which it moves, that allows the parents no time to do anything other than to be a passenger in that whole process. They can only look from outside as the wheels turn, and there's no way of stopping it.
In order to make the workings of the court more transparent and therefore learn lessons in child protection cases, a small number of judgments have recently been published. But the court still requests that the child and its family not be identified in order to protect the child's interests.
By the way, this is when they were talking about you not having enough time to do anything. This is when it pays to be a skeptic and a conspiracy theorist, because if you have a healthy skepticism of these people already, you're already going to be documenting what they do. So that's when they can't catch you off guard. They thought they would catch us off guard. Aha, we got you. We've been fabricating those cases for 5 months. Aha, I've been secretly recording you for 5 months and making my own chronology. Hi guys, because I know you guys stalk me and think that you're going to win. You're not going to win. We've got you on recording. Hi. Yeah, so that's when it pays to be a conspiracy theorist.
In June 2013, this family were torn apart when their baby fell from a bed. The incident triggered a 9-month ordeal in which they were wrongly accused of harming their baby and were arrested.
It's about time for him to start getting ready his bedtime routine. I took him upstairs, put him on the bed, and no more than a second later I'd turned back. He was in a mid-roll off the end of the bed and I couldn't get to him in time. He cried and I picked him up. It was then when he went into his fit, his eyes rolled back.
I can just remember sitting in the front room thinking he was going to die, and that's it. Yeah, so I just shut down, and then he was kind of like dealing with paramedics, and I feel guilty about that now, but...
Yeah, but as you said in court, and as your QC said, that is your way of dealing with things.
The paramedic felt the baby's injuries were not consistent with a fall from the bed and reported that the mother was emotionally withdrawn. Further medical investigations revealed injuries were in keeping with the baby being shaken. Immediately, the parents were reported to social services, and 3 days later, they were arrested.
They tried to charge us.
Surprisingly, a lot of the time they're not actually even arrested, which is really weird. Like, I know families where there was no criminal case. Oh no, sorry, I know families where they are arrested, there's a criminal case. They win the criminal case and then their child still gets taken. And it's like, I just proved that I didn't do this in the criminal court. So why are social services taking my kids? And they're like, oh yeah, because you didn't do it on an actual criminal threshold, but on the balance of probabilities, we think you did do it. What? Like, how do you win? On the balance of probabilities, you committed something that is actually a crime. I think that they should deal with these cases with the police every time. And the standard should be a criminal threshold, because if you kill, the strange thing about it is if you unalive a child, yeah, they will deal with you with the criminal threshold, even though you've unalived the child. But then if you have potentially harmed a child, they're like, no, the criminal threshold doesn't apply. We're going to do it on the balance of probabilities. So you basically have more rights if you actually unalive a child than if you could have harmed a child. Like,
just with GBH with intent.
And I mean rights with regards to having an actual fair trial where they have to prove what you did beyond reasonable doubt.
We were held in the cells for about 9 hours. The only time we got out of the cells was when we were being interviewed for about an hour and a half each, and then we were back in. So yeah, that scared me, because obviously it never had any trouble with the police, never had one, it never had a charge against me.
Both parents were released on bail and no further...
Hi Stammer, we got subscriber gang in the house. Thank you, subscriber gang. Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the roses, appreciate it. When he says we're social services involved, they're terrible and don't do their jobs. Yeah, it seems like people are actually waking up to what they're doing. I noticed that there's a council tax strike in the UK on April the 6th, and I saw that the reasons for the strikes, it was like bin collections, the small boats coming in and all this shit. I'm just like, bro, like, let me do a strike and give you the reasons. Forced adoption and child trafficking, you know, systemic fraud and obstruction of a coroner in the NHS, the COVID fraud, the COVID scam, where they haven't even demonstrated asymptomatic spread and they fabricated all of the studies and made it look like the thing is something that is not really, and all the people who have had COVID put on their death certificate who didn't die of it. Let me give my reasons. Systemic corruption in the police. Oh yeah, the bankrupt councils. Where's our council tax going? by the way, our council tax goes into a shared pool in the government, and then they get given a budget from the government to how they operate in if they're bankrupt. So that means that they're taking our council tax money and then they're spending more of our council tax money than they actually have. What is justifying that? Oh, would that be the fact that their budget has doubled for children's care? Would that be linked to the fact that they're trafficking children and the forced adoption? Let me do up my strike, guys. Let me organize my strike, give you the real reasons. The fact that, you know, you don't have free speech in the UK, you don't have the right to self-defense, you can't even carry a pepper spray. The extreme ideological bias in most institutions in the country. And that's not to mention the things everyone already knows about, like, you know, institutionalized racism and, you know, the strain on the services in the UK. Like, these guys are on about the small boats. Like, this is why I was going on a little rant before about like GB News, because I'm not someone that gets triggered by racial rhetoric and stuff, because I think people have the right to their opinion. But this is why I actually don't like GB News, because I'm like, these guys are focusing on the fucking small boats. I'm like, the small boats, like, go and look at what's going on with the Bank of England, and like, go and look at what's going on in the City of London and the amount of fraud there is. Do you know why the UK is a financial services economy primarily? We're not producers, we're not manufacturers. It's a financial services economy. It's a hub for money laundering. And these men are talking about small boats.
Charges were made. But 3 weeks after the incident, whilst their son was still seriously ill, social...
And sorry, by the way, when I say money laundering, the reason why people don't think it's money laundering is because it's not people that look a certain way doing it. It's not people who wear tracksuits and are laundering drug money. It's banks and multinational organizations creating shell companies in different places. You know, you look at the shell company, you go on this incorporation document, it has the name of another company. You look up that company and it doesn't exist. So this company has been basically confirmed to exist by the Secretary of State because it's, you know, on Companies House, but then the incorporation document is wrong. So this company exists, but doesn't exist because it hasn't been verified properly. So this is fraud. Like, this is a ratified shell company. But nobody wants to look at any of this stuff. They're talking about the fucking small boats.
Social services were granted an interim care order. The following day, their son was taken into foster care under threat of adoption.
You have to say goodbye, you have to walk away from your son while the foster care is holding your son, and you go home without him. Don't know, I was lost. It's like, you know, you're
Grieved.
Yeah, you're grieving for a child that's still alive.
The parents were allowed to see their baby son only 3 times a week under supervision.
You know, I think that first session probably affected me hardest than any of the others. It's just that first time when you're holding your child and he's snuggling to you. You know, he's resting his head on your shoulder. He's calm with you. He's happy with you. But then you have to give him back, give him to someone else.
It took 9 months for their son's final hearing to reach court. The parents' defence was based on an alternative medical explanation for the injuries, while social services built their case around a non-accidental injury diagnosis and the mother's behaviour and actions around the time of the incident.
So guys, this is where the NHS comes in, right? The non-accidental injury, the medical examiners, when things go seriously wrong, right? If the NHS gives your child a drug that harms them, or if an organization does something wrong to your child, they have to get a medical report to say what the cause was, and that's what they're going to go with. That's why Letby's in prison unjustly, because the medical evidence, not the medical evidence, the medical reports, medical testimony is considered to be expert testimony. So if I say as a witness, well, I don't think Letby did nothing because it don't make sense, they don't give a shit. But if a doctor says it, it's considered to be medical expert evidence. Oh, she did it by air embolism, right? So you can convict based on this. So what they do with the parents is they get a medical expert, they pay them, the council pays them, and then they generate a report saying this happened because the medical expert said it happened. And that's considered to be strong evidence. So like in our case, I'll just say like, I believe this evidence because it's medical expert evidence. It even sounds good. Your word, medical expert evidence. That's how they get you. That's how they got Alfie Lamb's parents. That's how they got Lucy Letby. That's how they tried to get us. That's how they get you when they get the medical expert to come and say that, oh, they didn't bump their head falling off the apparatus. You shook them. You shook them, didn't you? They don't have harm because, you know, a police officer did something to them, or a social worker did something to them, or foster carer did something to them. You have fabricated induced illness syndrome. That's what the hospital said. They said you've got Munchausen's by proxy. Parent, you've got Munchausen's by proxy. So you're making this up, and this didn't happen to your child. It's Munchausen by proxy.
It was mainly really focused on my mental health.
You know, and he said, "Okay, I'm crying now. Emma, what have you done to me?" Oh yeah, you're gonna take this these red pills, baby. No, in all seriousness, it's sad that we have to wake up to these realities in this country, and it's a very dark and harsh reality. And you can see why people shy away from this stuff. You can see why people call it conspiracy theories, because it's dark, it's difficult to contend with, and it's overwhelming. If you know, with my delivery method, I shove it in your fucking face. Like, it's overwhelming for people that don't know what's going on to see this stuff.
Making me look like a monster, put me in a bad light, when really they had no evidence that I was like mentally ill or anything like that. You know, it was just, there was all, like I say, basing it all on suspicion and hearsay, really.
The judge concluded that other than the injuries themselves, there were no other features of the case which raised suspicion against the parents. He ordered that their son be given back to them. Heather campaigns because she believes in some cases social services should investigate further before a care order is sought.
As a society, we often call for more action from social workers. We're often reading in the media that they failed to act. So they're under increasing pressure to save children from potential abuse. The problem comes when that action is based on such flimsy evidence. It becomes procedural abuse because we're not actually investigating anymore, we're just acting.
For Heather and Darren, who were under the scrutiny of social services for 2 years, the pain still continues.
I mean, even now, we're nearly 10 years on, and it still rips your heart out. You'll never get over it.
And for those that don't get their children, it's even worse.
You just can't even begin to think.
The reason why we raised awareness and have continued to try and fight to raise awareness is because it could be you, it could be your brother's, sister's children, it could be anybody's family. And that's really, really terrifying.
Hi, Stammer, by the way. Stammer Queens. Oh, I think I already shouted out Stammer Queen. Yeah, what's up? Guys, by the way, just a little intermission. Please join the subscriber program. It's $2.99 a month. You know what I mean? Like, you'd give $2.99 a month to buy a fucking couple chocolates or get a beer down the pub. Support, you know, a cause that I'm going hard for this. I'm not making money doing this. We're making a documentary. The documentary is not for us. We're going to have our own documentary made by a professional company. The documentary is for the other families, for the people in the chat, for the people that want to, you know what I'm saying, have their stories heard. And we're also going to pitch the documentary to the filmmakers and ask them to please make a docuseries so that it's not just our story told and everybody's story is told weekly. And I want the docuseries to be called Elephant in the Room, because I believe that if we have a platform where these people are getting exposed every fucking week, yeah, or every month at least, yeah, then they'll think twice, because they'll be like, should we really do this if we're going to end up on Elephant in the Room? That's my goal. That's my vision. So guys, like, I'm going to start being fucking aggressive now. Yeah, become a subscriber, yeah? Become a subscriber, $2.99 a month, like, donate to the charity.
Anthony and Alison are desperate to raise their only grandson ever since social services took him away from their daughter. They looked after him every other weekend since he was born, but now he remains with foster carers.
Oh, look at that little boy, so cute.
My grandson means the world to me. He's everything to me. He's like my whole life. I mean, since he's been gone, it's like I just don't know what to do with myself.
We fed him, we changed him, we was there.
Calamity, as I've said a lot of times, I don't accept any money from anybody. If you want to donate, there's a GoFundMe link that goes straight to the charity. And if you want to support the documentary, you can press the subscriber button. Like, I think you press me and then there's like a star or something that you can subscribe on. It shouldn't be too hard if someone can tell her how to do it. But that's like the 4th donation I've refused, because it has to go. Basically, the reason I refuse donations is because I don't want it to come to me, because I want it to be fully transparent. So it can go to the GoFundMe because that's a trackable, do you understand? Trackable showing that it's to the charitable cause. And it can go to the TikTok because I've put on the TikTok like that this money is going to fund our documentary. And also I'm not withdrawing it until we're making the documentary. So I guess I'll probably put the GoFundMe on the link tree. So if you really want to, you can message me. I'll put the GoFundMe on the link tree, or just subscribe. It's literally $2.99 a month.
You know, got up from in the mornings. He's like our son. And when
thank you, Calamity. Appreciate it. Yeah, let me give you a follow because you said you're gonna do your form to tell a story, I think. Or no, you said a form for something else, isn't it? That was someone else that was gonna tell the story. What's the documentary about? The documentary is exposing corruption, forced adoption, and harm to families in social care in the UK, basically. So NHS deaths that have been covered up, mainly focused on children. So it's NHS deaths that have been covered up, you know, children in foster care that are being abused, former foster carers that are whistleblowers. Then we've got NHS whistleblowers. We've got about 10 NHS whistleblowers, mainly from maternity and neonatal wards, telling you what is actually going on with the forced adoption, with the cover-ups, with the harm caused by the ventilators that gets covered up. And then there's also coerced abortion. We've got some coerced abortion whistleblowers. So that's basically what the documentary is about. And I want to pitch it to a film company that's doing a documentary with us and ask them to please make a docuseries so that other families can regularly have exposés, almost like a panorama kind of thing. And I want to call it Elephant in the Room. Dekelia says, sounds interesting, know all about that, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, and it's getting to the point where all of us are starting to have experiences like this, where we recognize the corruption is systemic and it's deliberate and it's organized, which should really like make the hairs on the back of all of our necks stand up. But the only thing we can do is expose it, and someone with the power to help will help. I've always said if I ever come into money or something, I will be an advocate and a voice for everybody. Because I don't give a shit about money. And I never had, well, when I was a kid, but now I don't give a fuck about money. If I wanted to make money, I'd be making loads of money right now. So for me, I want to genuinely like get justice for my daughter, expose these criminals, and then make a platform so that these fuckers are scared. The way they make families scared, and we don't tolerate bullying, harassment, alarm, and distress. I don't want to instill fear in anybody individually. I mean a colloquial sense of fear in that they think twice before the actions that they take.
When you know somebody from day one they're born and you have that attachment, you always will have that attachment.
As soon as they realised how serious social services concerns about their grandson were, they asked to be assessed as carers.
We spoke to the social services and they agreed for us to do a viability assessment, which meant that they came round to our house. They went through my background and Anthony's background. We had CRB checks done. They looked at our environment. It was a very positive assessment.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jazzy, for purchasing an auto renewal subscription. Big up to you, big up yourself, man. I really, really appreciate it. See, now you guys are gonna get me teared up again because I already got teared up before when everyone was subscribing on the live and stuff. But thank you, I really appreciate it. Like I say, like we're gonna do this, guys. Like, I'm not gonna stop for my daughter. I promise you guys, I'm not gonna stop. So someone said, is this NHS related? Yes, it's NHS related, unfortunately. Dekelia, thank you for following as well. Sar said, you're right, the fear they create and trauma they cause. 100%. 100%. Yes, this would be amazing if families can voice their stories. Yeah. And remember, guys, the ruling from, we pulled it up, didn't we? From January, press now allow, January, was it 27th? 2 days after the anniversary of my daughter's death, press now allowed to report from family courts. So they're allowed to report, the press can report on family courts in England and Wales. This is he says, UK's most senior judges called it a watershed change. This is a big deal, guys. And this is since January. So there hasn't been time yet for this to get processed and put into their little like guidelines and stuff. But I imagine that this would mean that, you know, and I'm going for like balls in on this. So like, I'm getting a GoPro and everything for when we go off grid. But imagine now, if we're still going to be doing the elephant in the room, you fill in this form, you give me a call, you say, oh, that you're in Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire, I'm there, bet. I pull up to the court with my camera on, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not film the actual proceedings, but before the proceedings, after proceedings, we do an interview, we find out what the case is about. And we put that shit on Elephant in the Room on the YouTube. You know, we stream it on here and we react to it. Then we do a triage, bing, we send the triage out to all of the people that are connected to us. We put it in the Telegram family chat. I does this, bro. Like, I know how to work these things, bro. Like, I've been doing this shit on the internet. Like, I know how to do this thing. I know how to set it up so that these fuckers can't do this shit. From a expose point of view, in terms of making the community and stuff. Tequila says you got a YouTube as well. Yeah, the YouTube is Star's Perspective. So can you see how it says link to all our platforms? Let me like flash it 1 second. Hold on. Let me flash it. So you should be able to screenshot that, or swipe to the right if the chat is in the way, and then you should be able to screenshot that, and then you can press the QR code and see our link tree. Okay. Oh yeah, let me just write a note to put the GoFundMe in the link tree as well. GoFundMe in link tree. So we know what the solution is in terms of exposing them. They only care when they think that they're going to get exposed. That's the number one thing that they fear, is damage to their reputation. So because they fear damage to their reputation, a reputational attack, oh, someone scanned the QR code, interesting. Yeah, because they fear damage to the reputation, a reputational attack is the best way to attack them. Has anyone here read The Art of War? I've read The Art of War many times. The Art of War talks, I believe that The Art of War uses metaphor to describe the tactics. So the art, when there's something it talks about where it says attacks by fire. An attack by fire is an attack where you attack your enemy and there's unintended or unpredictable consequences of the attack, such that there's maximum damage to your opponent because the attack cannot be contained, so, as if it is a fire. So an attack by fire. I believe it's a metaphor. You understand? Well, I take it as a metaphor. And what I consider an attack by fire to be is a reputational attack. It's one of the most powerful forms of attack. That's why they use it against us in the social care proceedings, because you can destroy a person's mindset and resolve through a reputational attack. If everybody thinks something about someone, it has unintended consequences. It spreads like a wildfire. Oh, sorry. It spreads like a wildfire. A reputational attack spreads like a wildfire. It's an attack by fire. So the number one way to attack them is through their reputation. That's why they're so scared of the press. It's an attack by fire. You see? So that's how we hit them. We make it so that they genuinely think that if they do something, there will be unintended consequences, like a fire spreading. That it will come, and as soon as it happens, think, we're going to have the footage from the court when someone pulls up to the court. It's going to go into a Telegram chat with hundreds of people. It's going to get posted on YouTube. It's going to be potentially on a docuseries. It's going to be documented in someone's Excel spreadsheet somewhere with all the information. The AI is going to write it up. It's going to get triaged, bing, it's going to get sent to NMC, GMC, Social Work England, CQC, all at the same time. It's all going to be timestamped and logged. This is what, let me not talk too much, but it's all going to be timestamped and logged. If someone could figure out a way to do that, wink, wink, right? It's all going to be timestamped and logged. So they can't say it didn't happen because at the point of it happened, it got metadata logged. You understand? So this is why I've quit my job, because this is the shit I'm working on, right? I'm not making this up. This is actually happening. So when we make the documentary, yeah, and then we talk about the app in the documentary and other things that we can make, we're going to pitch it to investors. And then I'm going to say, look, I got a master's in computer science and AI. Look, I got a chemistry. I'm going to use all of our faculties, whether we got a lawyer on this side, like there's lawyers, I'm sure, among us that follow this stuff. We've got people we've got whistleblowers in different organizations. We're going to come together. We're going to make this something that strikes the proverbial fear into the hearts of would-be wrongdoers. And sometimes people come on the live and they say, oh, you know, you're just talking. Where's the solutions? Here's the solutions, guys. Yeah, here's the solutions, okay? Full transparency. Here's the solutions. Let's finish off this video and then we'll see what we're going to go to next. I may do a debate live in like a few hours, like 3 hours or 2 hours. Let's see how it goes. I might even try and run a debate live from here. Actually, can I get people to join on here? I don't think I can, you know. Like, I don't think people can request to join the live on here. Okay, so I'm gonna have to run the debate lives on a separate, on the phone. Oh, that sucks. That would have been cool if I could have like had it running on here and then have guests up. Is that not possible? What's this? Invite guests. Oh no, that's different. Video storage image. Okay. Guests can control all presentations. If I can figure out a way to have guests up, that would be cool. But I don't think I can. So we might do another debate live in a bit. Have you heard of Royal Shazology? He would be beneficial to our movement. I haven't heard of him. Could you please send me his profile? That would be great. Yeah, let's finish up this one so we can move on today, because this was quite long. Thank you for everyone rocking with us, Lilani, all the people that have been here, Allergic, all the people that, you know, are regulars on the live. Like, big up to you guys. Like, your support is invaluable.
Definitely. Next stage was a kinship assessment, which would take 12 weeks. Alison missed 2 meetings, which she tried to reschedule. She says that she was never informed by social services that this would count against her.
The job that I had at the time was as a support worker, so I was working very long, unsociable hours, and I explained this to social services, and I asked if it would be possible if I could do the kinship assessment on the weekends, because, you know, during the week I just really didn't have time to do it. But they said, unfortunately, that it would have to be done during office hours. I'm really cross with myself that I didn't make more of an effort to do the kinship assessment, but at the time I did not think that the situation would escalate as it did. And I also felt, because Auntie and I looked after our grandson every other weekend, that it wouldn't be possible for us not to be considered to have him.
Over the next 12 months, they repeatedly tried to prove their commitment to their grandson, as questions were raised about why their own daughter had gone off the rails.
I gave up my job, I paid for legal fees, I facilitated meetings with social services, and they still would not consider giving us an assessment.
We pleaded with them and said, please give us a chance to fight for our grandson. Don't just take him away.
Whilst Anthony and Alison were fighting to have a kinship assessment, social services were actively looking for adoptive parents.
They preferred to parade him around at open days for potential adopters, and also put him on websites, and, you know, we're here. So, you know, it's really frustrating that they're trying to find a family for my grandson when he's already got a family.
Well, exactly, we're here.
You know, we're here for him.
As loving families are being broken up, more and more children are ending up in care.
There is often a failure to think through the implications of adoption as opposed, for example, to long-term fostering or to trying to find a special guardian amongst a member of the family. So certainly it will be the experience of all of us that we've encountered a certain looseness thinking there, and an assumption that just because a child can't go home, therefore adoption is right.
Where there are care orders, a third of those are now with a plan of adoption. So we're sort of moving these children through the care proceedings system as fast as we can in order to park them at the end, thousands of them now, with placement orders, but no placement. These children are not being adopted.
That's actually a really good point. So what that shows is that they're being put through the care system, and like I say, 90% of the cases, they lose. So they're just being put through a racket, which is benefiting the lawyers, the court, the local authority, justifying their funding. The hospital staff are getting, the doctors and consultants are getting medical legal payments. It's a racket. They're just cycling you through the system and preying on your trauma like a vampire, and then they just release you back out, and then they might put you through the system again when it shows that you're known to social services or something like that. So it's a racket, criminal racket, which is organized crime, by the way, guys. Like when I always say organized crime, what do you mean organized crime? That's organized crime. It's called a racket.
A Department for Education spokesperson said over 4,000 children were placed in stable, loving homes last year. The ultimate decision to remove a child from their families rests with the courts and should only happen when they are sure children are suffering or likely to suffer significant harm. There are concerns the government's new Children and Family Act no longer gives a clear priority to wider family over foster carers and adopters, making it more likely for a child to be placed with strangers.
It's a very, very grave interference with family life, and the family's legal relationship with the child is severed. So that child is legally no longer their child. Any other children they have are legally no longer that child's brothers and sisters.
Anthony and Alison do not know what will happen to their grandson. Forced adoptions are closed, which means no contact until the child is 18 and only if the child wishes. If this happens, they will lose the limited contact they now have. There are nearly 4,000 children in Britain awaiting adoption, and for those who are adopted, a third will be returned to care.
I know there's an order for a closed adoption, but that doesn't mean he's going to get adopted. He could end up being fostered long term. You know, he could end up having several foster families throughout the next 11 years of his life. He could end up in residential care as grandparents were being punished because of the closed adoption.
For the moment, Alison and Anthony still have visitation rights.
The minute we have to go, he heads down, he becomes this shut-off little boy, you know, who's confused, and he tends to want to cling near me, thinking I'm going to take him away now, take him home, and it doesn't happen, you know. So each time we see him, this is what we got to face, you know, and it's so hard, right? It's so hard.
You got this, brother. Can't be weak for these people, man. They've been doing this to people for hundreds of years. I'm telling you, man. It's us v them.
I really miss him. I really do. I really miss him.
Shah, you said I've only watched this last bit. I'm sad already. I need to watch the whole thing. You only just joined. Okay, basically, what I'm going to say is I think that this should be, this live, I should be able to post a full live on YouTube, and I should be able to post a full live on Facebook. In fact, the full live is streaming on Facebook right now. It should get posted, which means I can definitely download it and repost it on YouTube. From now on, when I do these reactions, when I do these lives, the whole thing is going to get posted. We're going big on this, guys. I'm going to be live streaming constantly. I'll be live streaming from when we go off grid, same, not this content, but you know, the kind of content I cover, like health stuff, legal stuff, crime stuff, corruption. Like you're gonna have access. So subscribe on YouTube, okay? What I'll do is I'll cross post to the charity page, Elephant in the Room. Hold on. Let me just, maybe I should actually be going live on anything. No, because I've got more friends and family on this. So, okay. I'm gonna get the footage. I'm gonna post it on the Elephant in the Room. Yeah, just subscribe on everything. Join the Telegram chat. I'll put it in the Telegram chat. Everything I post, to be honest, it's just gonna go on all platforms. The only platform it wouldn't go on is if something like this is Instagram and TikTok, because it's obviously too long. It's like 2.5 hours long. I would say that I think my interjections were useful because I was adding information that I know for a fact, and I you know. But if you want to watch the full video, you can obviously just watch the thing without me like cutting in and stuff. So that's nice. Guys, first live reaction. Thank you everybody that was a part of this first live reaction. I'm gonna do this often. This is a really good way to make content. Next time I'll wear something more snazzy. All right. I just come on. Let me be professional for the outro. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was getting too comfy there, innit? But yeah, thanks everyone for joining the live. Thanks for your support, continued support. Thanks to the likes, the gifts, everything. The subscribers. Big up to the subscribers, yeah. We got this, guys. I'm content house right now. I'm gonna be smashing out content. Video reactions, live video reactions, live debates. I'm gonna do a live debate in like maybe 3 hours, 2 hours. I'll just eat some food, do a live debate, and then I'll just direct everyone to our platforms. So we got this, man. Shah said, "I like your explanations. I know I can watch. I like your input." Oh, thank you, Shah. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Oh, it's a great thing you've done that, as I keep forgetting the YouTube name to find it. It's called Stars Perspective. If you forget it, here's how you remember it. My baby daughter, she's our star. She's with the stars. We got our star subscribers. Sorry, it's cold. We got our star subscribers. Yeah. And so you guys are stars too. And we got the superstar subscribers. Those are the people that are helping us to fund the private prosecutions. Sean says you're brilliant. Thank you so much. I'm gonna keep tweaking like these things. Lilani, I remembered, I saw that you said that you're done with it. Luckily, it's over. Thank you for your emotional energy, because we need that. We need people to see the truth of what's going on. Yeah, I'm gonna keep tweaking everything so that we can really get a good platform. I'm gonna buy a HD camera as well, so you're gonna be seeing my my nappy hair in HD. Nah, I'll get it more professional. You know what I'm saying? HD cameras, we'll stream them out and stuff, off grid. Then we've got exclusive videos on the Telegram. I've got an abortion reaction on the Telegram. I know not a lot of people agree with that, but I'm passionate about what I believe in. But that's explicit, obviously, so that's on the Telegram. And that's just to wake people up about what's going on in the medical system. Again, that's not for everyone. That's for the superstar subscribers. You know, there's a Telegram for everyone, then there's a private Telegram. So this video will be on the public Telegram, Facebook, YouTube. That's it. Check your inbox. Okay, I will do. Oh, Lilani, you did say call you, actually. I'll call you in a bit. Thanks for the heart, Shah. Right, I'm going to lock off now because I want to make sure that I can upload this everywhere. Thank you, everyone, from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate it. Peace. I'll be on in a few hours doing a debate live as well. All right.